Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hello, 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 my fans and friends. What a day, what a day, what a day we have gotten to, right? We had one White House official. It's amazing that we have one White House official that is getting caught up in this ICE. One White House close to the president. Are they gonna save her sister-in-law, ex-sister-in-law?
Seems no one is immune from those immigration raids, not even the family of the White House press secretary. A woman with a family connection to press secretary Caroline Leavitt is now being held by ICE. Her attorney confirms she is a native of Brazil. She is the mother of Leavitt's nephew. Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra is live in our DC newsroom. And Patrick, does she face deportation?
She absolutely does, Del. She is locked up right now in Louisiana awaiting deportation hearings. Her name is Bruna Caroline Ferreira, and she is the mother of an 11-year-old boy who is also the nephew of White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt.
So she's related to Caroline Leavitt. Well, no. Her child is related to Caroline Leavitt. Now, does that mean that seeing as how she overstayed her visa, this lady overstayed her visa 19 years? Does that mean that her and the child are not supposed to be here? Do they get rid of her and the child? I mean, because they have no problem getting rid of brown people, but Caroline Leavitt, her and her brother, I'm assuming, are blonde-haired, blue-eyed, right? So the kid, does that mean the kid has to go with the mother? So Caroline Leavitt hasn't spoken to this woman. The press secretary hasn't spoken to this woman in 7 to 8 years. Does that mean that this president is going to step in and see that her nephew doesn't get thrown out of the country? Is she going to get special treatment? Is that what's going on? Let's see. Because I think the lady, she may have been arrested, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago. My understanding is she's been arrested and moved down to Louisiana to some detention facility down there. Well, hell, that's one of the poorest states in the country. So why would anybody give a damn about freaking Louisiana? But there are facilities that are down there, and this young lady is down there. Is the child with the lady? I mean, this is Caroline Leavitt's nephew. So my understanding is, I heard the news report say she hasn't spoken to the woman in 7 years. So does that mean she hasn't seen her nephew in 7 years? She hasn't had any contact with her nephew? What the hell is going on with this story? I mean, how do you be the aunt of a child and it's your first cousin, your first nephew, and you don't have any contact with the mother of the child? Did they fall out, the daddy and the mama, your brother and her? What's going on with this story?
She shares custody of that 11-year-old with Leavitt's brother, Michael. The two of them are still in close.
So would they allow her to get deported back to Brazil? And then that would mean that the brother gets full custody of the child? I wonder how they're going to do that. Are they going to get special treatment?
Contact, but do not live together. All of this began with that traffic stop earlier this month in November in the suburbs of Boston, where she was ultimately detained by ICE and sent down to Louisiana. According to the White House and the Department of Homeland Security, she is a, quote, criminal illegal alien, something that the attorney disputes. The attorney representing Ferreira saying,
I wonder why they're allowing to disparage Caroline Levitt. Is she going to do anything to save this young lady? I mean, really, this is a fuck around and find out, ain't it?
That she came to the United States as a child in the mid-90s and overstayed a 1999 visa at the time. Again, she was a child, just about 5 years old when this happened in 1999. And according to Homeland Security, there is a charge she faced at some point for battery, but that is something that the attorney tells us simply is not true. The attorney saying that she does not have any criminal record. So she continues to fight this.
So I wonder how they came about thinking she had a criminal record. Why would you think she has a criminal record? Is somebody trying to smear her? Are they trying to say that she's a criminal when she's really not? She's just a woman who overstayed her welcome. But then again, all of the people who want deportation says these are criminals. These are the hardened criminals that commit violence and commit all kinds of crimes. Then she should be taken right back to Brazil. So should the child. If she has partial custody with the dad, so should the whole family should be torn apart. At least that's what the administration says to the other brown people. She's a brown person, right? So she should get the same treatment, right?
All the while, the attorney is saying they do not believe that there is any sort of connection here with Caroline Levitt. They do not believe that Ferreira was targeted. Take a listen.
Our concern right now.
You all make sure you're hitting the like, share, and subscribe button. We have content like this every day. Please and thank you. We're talking about the press secretary, our press secretary, Trump's press secretary, Caroline Levitt. Her brother's girlfriend, her brother's ex-girlfriend has a baby by her brother. Now, the brother or the baby or the lady, she's being detained in ICE, and she has Caroline Levitt's nephew. So is Caroline Levitt going to allow them to take her nephew, deport her nephew? She's in deportation status. Our press secretary's relative is being held in a detention facility who used to date her brother. They had a baby. So I'm saying, are they going to let the process play itself out? She's a brown person. She's from Colombia. She don't have any paperwork. She overstayed her visa. She ain't never became no citizen. She was born and raised here since the age of 5 and 6. So she ain't never known no other country. Okay. So she had this lady's baby, this lady's brother's baby. And she's the house pregnant. This is a chick be in front of camera all the time. So are they going to save her? Save the girl? Okay. See, this is when it hit home. This is when the reality hits. Do you think if they deport her, that she's taking the kid with her? Is she in detention facility with the kid? Is Caroline Levitt's nephew in the detention facility with this woman? Are they going to allow her to get kicked out of the country with Caroline Levitt's nephew? What the hell is going on? Caroline Levitt has not talked to her in 7 years. How do you have somebody that's the mother of your nephew? How have you not talked to the mother of your nephew in 7 years? That's what I say. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Caroline Levitt's nephew can get kicked the fuck out just like everybody else. Her nephew is the one who is being, her nephew's mother has been detained by ICE. So let them fuck around and find out like everybody else. That's the way I look at it. Let's finish.
Is getting a single mother out of a nice hellhole in Louisiana. We have no idea why she was detained. She wasn't given any explanation at all. And, her relationship with the press secretary for the White House appears to be happenstance.
And that attorney saying that she was arrested.
Nah. He ain't old enough to live here by himself. He ain't old enough to live by himself. So he need to go to Colombia with his mama. His mama's from Colombia. She snuck in. I mean, she got here when she was a kid. Her parents brought her here when she was 6. She ain't no citizen. She been fucking around all these years, not trying to get her citizenship papers. She been fucking around just living here. So, and she had a baby by old boy. Yes, she got partial custody of that boy. Caroline Levitt's brother got other half custody. So what? Send her. So what? His dad is here. So what? She got partial custody. You think that she gonna allow? You think they gonna that girl gonna let them take her baby from her, and that child been raised with her? You think that she ain't gonna be taking that baby back to Colombia? Okay then. So kick her and her kid, Caroline Levitt's nephew, kick them the fuck out, just like everybody else's.
Arrested on her way to actually go to school to pick up her son, that 11-year-old boy, who again is the nephew of Caroline Levitt. We reached out to the White House in hopes of getting comment from Levitt. We got a statement back from someone who asked to be referred to as a source close to the situation, who said that Levitt and Ferreira, the detained woman, have not spoken in years. Del.
Apparently they haven't spoken in years. And I ask you, how many people don't even have no conversation with the baby mama if y'all parted on comfortable ways? See, that's fucked up. Well, maybe Caroline don't care. Shit. Well, maybe we just making a big old fuss. Maybe she don't give a shit whether her nephew go get kicked out into a foreign country. Maybe she don't give a shit. Okay. Maybe they don't give a shit.
Scripps News investigation.
Everybody fucked around and found out. This is how it goes, specifically with family. Everybody got somebody that they related to. Most people got somebody that they're related to, except maybe a lot of black folk. But most people got somebody they know, related to, can get kicked out because they...
Investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra live for us in our DC newsroom. Patrick, as always, thank you.
Okay. So that's what's happening with Caroline Levitt. Family member is detained down in Louisiana. The mother of her nephew. She hasn't spoken to the mother of her nephew in X, Y, and Z. So apparently that's not a concern of hers. And she is saying, who cares? Because that's a very cold and callous statement that she made. The White House issued a statement saying Caroline has not had contact with her in 6 years. How the hell you gonna say some shit like that? Okay. And that's your nephew. Okay. Now, we go on to our next story. Our next story is about Afton Ben. Afton Ben. Her name is Afton Ben. Afton Ben. Oh, Afton Bain. Okay. Afton Bain. She is running for a congressional district in Tennessee, number 7. So this is going to be a very, very, very interesting race right here.
Afton Bain. She's running as a Democrat for Congress in Tennessee. Afton, good morning. Welcome to CNN This Morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so I feel like you're among the younger generation that is trying to run for some of these new seats. And we were looking at our polling earlier, and it found there's a good number of voters in the Democratic Party who are actually like their satisfaction with who they have. It breaks down by generation. Some of the older voters are like, I'm fine with this. The younger voters are complaining. How do you win over that older crowd?
I think the energy is palpable. I think the electorate wants to see young voters, young leaders lead this charge. They want to see us usher in a generation of prosperity. They want to see us take charge, elbow our way into the table, and to really be vocal about the issues that are affecting us. This country has been full of broken promises and a lot of unfulfilled commitments. Young people are suffering, and we've had to figure out how to resist and organize against that. And so now we really just want a seat at the table.
Do you feel pushback in the establishment? I mean, things may be better for you in Tennessee, but if you look at, say, I think the special election, you had Deja Fox lose in Arizona. David Hogg had a big falling out with the DNC. Where do you stand on something like this, where he's saying, look, we should actually primary those folks who we think should be out?
If she wins that race, it's gonna be a hurricane that go through this fucking that freaking House of Republicans if she wins this seat, this Tennessee seat. If she wins, this Democrat, okay, they scared she gonna win this this seat. If she wins this seat in Tennessee, it's gonna be a bloodbath for you Republicans. It's going to be because deep red Tennessee, and she wins, and she's a progressive. She's a progressive Democrat. If she wins that seat, it's over for you Republicans. And there ain't no Republicans coming. Ain't no Democrats coming out of no freaking Tennessee. And this is the thing. If she wins, her name is Afton Ben or something. It's really hard to pronounce. But the voting is on Tuesday. And so she is down by 2 to 3 points. Ain't nobody got to be scared. I ain't got to be scared. I'm optimistic. I don't know what y'all do. Y'all got to be upset as Republicans. Y'all got to be upset. Nobody else got to be upset. But this is a deeply red state. And if she swings it, see, here's the thing. Donald Trump won Tennessee by 20-some points. 20-some points. So if this girl pulls off winning a Democrat in Tennessee, it's over for you Republicans. I don't care what you do, it's over for you if she wins. And even if she get within 2 points, it's still over for you Republicans. Because ain't no way she should win nothing in deep red Tennessee. But if she get close, it's over for y'all. And that's the whole thing. That's the bottom line. All the analysts say that if she get close, because she's within 2 to 4 point more margin of error, it's gonna be over. And so I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm keeping an eye on this race because it's sad that we have gotten to the point where we have to blow out Republicans to let the world, the country, and the electorate know that we do not want Donald Trump's agenda. It's a damn shame that we have to show the world. People have to show the world that they do not want this agenda that is going on with Donald Trump. But it is what it is. And you know how I know y'all know how we in trouble? Okay? You know how I know y'all in trouble? It's because J.D. Vance is on his way down to Tennessee to do some campaigning for this girl. They are on their way down to do campaigning for this girl. So as long as they on their way down there to do campaigning for that girl, that means they in trouble. Okay, hold on. And that's all you need to know. The poor child, if she wins, it's over. I mean,
This video.
I highly recommend you go check out that full video from Breeze. She's talking about Afton Bean, who is running for the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee. That election is coming up December 2nd, and she's running against Matt Van Epps, who is Trump endorsed, Trump backed, Trump supportive, you name it. He is deep MAGA. She's running against him, and if she loses and he wins, it cancels out the Arizona vote, which we've been waiting on with Mike Johnson. So it's likely that we will not get the discharge on the Epstein files. So if you know somebody in Tennessee, if you know somebody around Nashville, the 7th district, even if you're anywhere in the world or the country, just try to broadcast this out, share it, make your own videos, push it around to get to people in Tennessee so they know how important it is to vote for Afton on December 2nd. That's coming up. So check your registration, make sure you're all set, where you're going to vote, and then go vote for Afton. That is what is going to unlock the Epstein files as soon as this shutdown is over, right? And they're hoping if they last that long and keep it shut down, that Van Epps, who is a Trump stooge, will win, and then they don't have to worry about it anymore.
So this is coming up now. And another woman won in Arizona. That one lady, she won in Arizona. So this is a mute video. But if she does still win in Tennessee, she does still win, it's gonna be a hurricane.
Election night here in Tennessee as thousands head to the polls in District 7, the congressional primary. And we now know the candidates who will face off in December's general election. Fox 17 News' Hope Salmon joining us live in Clarksville, where both winners.
I don't even know if we got the results yet. I don't know whether whether the results have come in. I don't know. I haven't seen them say that she won. Maybe she lost. Maybe it's a matter of maybe they got to continue counting and do whatever. But she's the one that we hope can get that seat. But then again, it could be somebody else. Who knows? They might still be counting because they're afraid that she may win. She may have win. Wait a minute. I'm waiting for. Who am I waiting for? Oh, the president. President Donald Trump. Hold on. There won't be any kind of ACA subsidies done because the president squashed that. He squashed that. So we won't be getting any kind of subsidies. If a Republican says that they're going to do it, they're lying because the president just said he's not doing it. Hold on, the president said he ain't doing it. So on the press.
Hi, how are you? Hi. What would you like to know today?
Could you start off by telling us the latest with Russia and Ukraine? Are you expecting Zelensky to come visit you?
We're having good, I don't know, he would like to come, but I think we should get a deal done first. We're having good talks. We started with Russia, having some talks with Russia. Ukraine is doing well. I think they're pretty happy about it. They'd like to see it end. And we won't know for a little while, but we're making progress.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking that. I'm sorry.
8 wars.
I was like, wait a minute, it ain't December. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. It happens next Tuesday, Wednesday.
And I thought this would be one of the easier ones because of my relationship with President Putin. But this is probably one of the more difficult ones. There's a lot of hatred.
You said there were some disagreements that were still left to be.
Yeah, a few.
Can you tell us what those are?
Well, it's just the standard things, but people are starting to realize it's a good deal for both parties if they got to stop the war. They're losing a lot of people, a lot of soldiers, mostly soldiers.
In that 28-point plan that was originally leaked, there were some portions of that that said that Ukraine.
Well, that was an original proposal, and then from there we went back and forth.
So when it comes to ceding land to Russia, is that still on the table or has that changed?
Well, they're talking about going land both ways and trying to clean up a border. You know, you can't go through the middle of a house, you can't go through the middle of a highway. So they're trying to work something. It's a complicated process. It doesn't go that quickly.
What about the U.S. security guarantees and
Well, we're working that out with Europe. Europe will be largely involved in that. We're working that out with Europe. Europe really wants to see it end if possible.
Talking about the Ukraine war. Talking about the Ukraine war and that shitty 28-point plan that they try to pass around, which was really Putin's 28-point plan, and the White House tried to pass it off as theirs.
Republicans who felt that the first 28-point plan was too favorable to Russia. Have you changed
Well, that was just a map. All that was is a map. That was not a plan. It was a concept. And from there, they're taking each one of the 28 points, and then you get down to 22 points. A lot of them were solved, and actually very favorably solved. So we'll see what happens.
Do you think that Ukraine was being asked to give too much land back to Russia? I know at one point you said they shouldn't have to give any back.
It's really up. Look, the way it's going, if you look, it's just moving in one direction. So eventually, that's land that over the next couple of months might be gotten by Russia anyway. So do you want to fight and lose another 50, 60,000 people? Or do you want to do something now? In some cases, the land is going in the other direction.
So he's trying to say, what he's trying to say is Russia is advancing in Ukraine. Now, do you want to lose more people, or do you want to give up the land? Give up the land, and then you ain't got to lose no more people. But see, that ain't no right. That's not right to even say. We shouldn't even have any kind of discussion when it comes to Ukraine war. It shouldn't even be our business. That's the way I look at it. Hey, to the victor go the spoils. If you can't hold them off, and we giving you weaponry, and we giving you money, and we giving you all these things in order to hold them off, and you still can't hold them off, that's not our fault. What you really want us to do is to get involved with the war. You want us to stop Putin. See, we could go over there and we could stop Putin, and we could stop him dead in his tracks, and we could knock him back. Do we want to do that? Because I know that the European people, the people that are backing him, I know they don't want nobody to get involved. I say I hate for the people to be overrun, but this is the way lands have been gotten, lands have been acquired, riches have been acquired. People get overran, countries get overran, dictators get ran out of their job, they ran out of their country, X, Y, and Z. This is not our fight. And I get it. It's not our fight. It's a lost cause unless we want to get involved. Do we want to get involved to save this country? Do we want to do that? Nobody has any kind of stomach for another war. That's the thing. Nobody has a stomach for a war. So do we want to get involved, or we don't want to get involved? That's what we need to do. We either need to decide that we're going to get involved, or we're going to get the hell on. And I understand somebody might say, you just want them to get broke off. You just don't want them to. No, it's not that. I just don't see the point in fighting a useless war if you can't hold him off. But they have been holding him off. But do we want to be bothered? That's the question. Do we want to
They're negotiating. They're trying to get it done. You want to have a border. You can't have a border that goes through a highway, or border that goes through the middle of a town.
Right.
So that doesn't work. So it's a long, complicated process. And very, very sad because so many people are being killed.
What's the next step?
They're going to keep talking.
Yeah, see, it's almost like I don't know how they do all this. It's such a waste of money. I mean, it's such a waste. I don't want to say human life is a waste. Human life is not a waste. What I am saying is, in order for that little country, in order to win the war, would need somebody bigger to step in and help them. Are they hoping that we step in? Do we really want to go to war with Putin on two fronts? We are in direct opposition of Putin through the Ukraine war and through this Venezuela squabble. Sooner or later we're gonna have to interface with Russia. Sooner or later we're gonna have to fool with them. But I'd rather, if we gotta fool with them, we fool with them because of shit we did, not no bullshit some little ass country did. Not because we waged a war against Venezuela. Well, see, I don't know. Russia has more weapons, Blands. Russia has more weapons than we do. Okay? And they have nuclear weapons. Putin has went down to Venezuela, and he has given Venezuela support because they do not want us to invade Venezuela. So Russia is down in Venezuela, okay? And then Russia's in Ukraine. Now, those are two wars against two countries that we could get pulled into somehow, some way. Don't nobody want a war with Putin. We really don't want to fool with Putin. We've kept people off our shores since 2001, since September 11th. We've kept people off our shores since then. That don't mean it can't happen. Look, sooner or later the devil gonna come knocking at our door. I damn sure don't want it to be in my lifetime. So we need to leave those people alone. Let them people conquer what they gonna conquer.
Okay, they're talking to Russia now. Steve Witkoff is going over, maybe with Jared. I'm not sure about Jared going, but he's involved in the process. Smart guy, and they're going to be meeting with President Putin, I believe, next week in Moscow.
I don't know. That little country is like a little engine that could. That country is fighting them off. For real, for real. That country is, they got some, they fighting. That little country is fighting. And we've given them money, and we've given them weaponry, and we've given them all of those kind of things. And they got the best weaponry and everything else. So of course they're keeping Russian people up off of them, even though the Russian people keep coming. Okay. No, we have more. They have more weapons. Russia has more weapons.
In Moscow?
I think so, yes.
What kinds of concessions are the Russians going to have to make?
Well, they're making concessions. Their big concession is they stop fighting and they don't take any more land. Again, it's a war that would have never happened if I was president. This was not anything that was going to happen. This happened because of stupidity. It's too bad.
Mr. President, if Witkoff is going to Russia next week, does that mean that Thanksgiving deadline doesn't stand anymore for Ukraine to agree to this?
We're going to see what happens. They set up a date, and the date is going to be sometime in the very near future.
Does there have to be a deadline?
No, I don't have a deadline. You know what the deadline for me is? When it's over. And I think everybody's tired of fighting at this moment. They're losing too many people.
Have you heard this audio that Bloomberg has of?
At this point, he's considered a war president. At this point, he is. Black America, they have more warhead. They have more nuclear warheads than we do. I'm sorry, maybe not military stuff, but they have more nuclear warheads than we do. Russia has more nuclear warheads than we do. So they have about 400 or 500 more than we do. So they do have more firepower like that. Maybe not more as sophisticated as we do, but they have more. So, and he's saying he's tired too. He's tired of dealing with these people back and forth as Ukraine, knowing full well Ukraine is too small to keep these people off. Ukraine don't want to cede no land whatsoever.
Witkoff coaching the Russians on how to appeal to.
Yeah, but if he wanted peace, how did we go? See, here's my thing. This president took his monkey ass over there and then bombed Iran. Bombed Iran. I'm sorry, it's pronounced Iran. He went over there and he bombed Iran for Israel. Not for us, for Israel. Israel is not us. So I didn't appreciate him going over there and bombing Iran for some other country. When we didn't need, there was nothing, wasn't no kind of squabble, wasn't no kind of nothing. We just went over there bombing somebody because you said he had military weapons, because somebody else said he had military weapons. You decided we were going to take your ass over there and then bomb him. I didn't appreciate the president doing that. So now he's a war president. Okay? Now he's a war president. It is what it is. He said he wasn't going to do that, and then he promptly, the minute he became president, went over there and bombed Iran. Okay? So now we got to deal with Ukraine, who's getting overrun by Russia slowly, like dying by 1,000 cuts. And then we got to deal with the Gaza, which was Gaza Strip, Gaza and Israel, which really wasn't no ceasefire. People lied about that. They lied about that. They knew it wasn't no ceasefire. Israel wasn't never gonna do no ceasefire for no for no Gaza. They systematically wiping them out, like going block from block, taking heads off. That's all they doing. Okay. And then we have this other war with Venezuela, with president posturing outside in the Caribbean. We don't know. Right now, we are at the head. We at the head of 3, 4, 5 different wars. Okay? 3, 4, 5 different wars that we shouldn't even be. We shouldn't be in any kind of war. Yes. And it's even more so. So now they got permission to make it a parking lot. Let them make it a parking lot. This president allowed it, so it is what it is. Okay. and we are doing the bidding of as far as I can see, Israel, because we had no business going over there bombing Iran. We're in the middle of this Ukraine because Zelensky keeps coming over here asking for help. So now we're in the middle with Zelensky and Putin. And now Putin has inserted himself in the middle of us and Venezuela because Putin doesn't want us to take the oil in Venezuela. So now we're on the cusp of 3, 4, 5 different things that we have no business being in. This is a war president. This president inserted himself into it. He told us that he was not going to be a war president. He told us he wasn't going to do that. And what did he do? Promptly threw his monkey ass in the middle of 3, 4, 5 different fights.
Well, I haven't heard it, no, but that's a standard thing, because he's got to sell this to Ukraine. He's got to sell Ukraine to Russia. That's what a deal maker does. You got to say, look, they want this. You got to convince them with this. That's a very standard form of negotiation. I haven't heard it, but I heard it was standard negotiation. And I would imagine he's saying the same thing to Ukraine, because each party has to give and take.
So you're not worried that he's...
I need you, Virgil, to come up with some kind of clear-cut answer, because you watch the news too. Do you live where these places are? Because if you don't live where those places are, then you don't have any more information. Yeah, he's not ending anything. Y'all dumb as hell. How do you end it? He can't end it, dummies. Man, y'all be just saying stuff.
Too pro-Russian.
No, I think, look, this war could go on for years. And
this war can go on for years. Are you goofies listening?
Russia's got a lot more people, got a lot more soldiers, So I think if Ukraine can make a deal, it's a good thing. I think it's great for both. Frankly, I think it's great for both. But Ukraine's got a much smaller.
Get your dumb ass. Get your ass out of my chat. You can't put any kind of thing on the table that says anything different. Yeah, he's for Trump. He's one of those idiots.
It's a much smaller group.
Think they know everything, just running their mouth. Anybody who say Trump 2028, 2029 is an idiot, because they're about to get slaughtered.
People, they've lost a lot of people. Russia's lost a lot of people, but Russia has a much bigger pool of people.
Mr. President, are you planning to unveil a healthcare plan anytime soon?
No, the healthcare plan is dead on arrival. This president is not doing anything regarding the healthcare. They're just going to allow, they already cut healthcare. They already cut the subsidies. They already cut everything. So they wanted people to lose their insurance anyway. The Republicans wanted to lose those things anyway. Wanted you to lose that medical insurance anyway. So the Republicans don't care one way or the other. So it is what it is. So they are and we just heard news reports say that Trump, that's why the Republicans said that they were gonna retire. Retire early, or they were just gonna leave if the president introduced those ACAs back into the conversation. They were gonna abandon his ass. So he has abandoned the ACA subsidies, and he doesn't have a plan for them. So
we're looking at different alternatives. I like my plan the best. Don't give any money to the insurance companies. Give it to the people directly. Let them go out and buy their own healthcare plan. And we're looking at that if that can work.
I don't know why Jared is talking. I don't know why he's talking. You don't make sense. You come in the chat and you crash out. 2 minutes and he crashes out. No coherent conversation, just crashing out. Here to run. Do you wonder when people get on panels and you want to have a productive conversation with somebody and you say, "Hey, HQ, why don't you like Donald Trump?" Why is it that people who are in the Trump camp ask people, why don't they like Trump? You got to know why we don't like Trump. You've got to know that. And then there's no cohesive defense of this president. It's just a matter of running the mouth.
We're looking at that. That's sort of take it off. That's what I like.
Sure did. I'm that 21-year-old chick that has a baby on her hip. Sure, I do.
Don't give the money to the insurance companies. They go out and buy their own plan. You give the money to the people. I like it the best.
I 7 Gator, I have no idea who these people are talking about. Babies. I don't even know. Welfare. I don't even get it. How are you talking about welfare when half the population or 42% of people are on welfare? You see that people are trying to shame the people who get welfare? You're trying to shame human beings. That's wild. You all hit the like, share, and subscribe button. We have this content every day and commentary going along with it. We're listening to the president explain his positions this week.
Extend those subsidies,
I'd rather not. Somebody said I want to extend them for 2 years. I don't want to extend them for 2 years. I'd rather.
Well, 7 Gator, I don't know whether it's 80%, but it's a fair amount. It's definitely a fair amount. Wait a minute, hold on. It took 2 minutes.
Send them an.
It took 2 minutes.
And maybe some kind of an extension may be necessary to get something else done, because the Unaffordable Care Act has been a disaster. It's a disaster. And I said it was when it first got put in. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of Republican votes and the Democrats voted for it. It's a Democrat plan. And the premiums are going up, and it's the Democrats' fault. But, they are negotiating with me. It's very interesting. They want to see something happen.
Who are you talking?
Wait a minute. How is he negotiating? When did he negotiate? He knows that if he negotiates with the Democrats, he's going to lose the Republicans in the House. So he knows he's not talking to any Democrats or anything else. He tried to float the idea to the Republicans, and the Republicans said, hell no, we're going to leave you. We're going to retire early. We're going to get the hell on if you introduce that ACA back into the conversation. So now they're on a slippery slope. They're in free fall because they know, the Republicans know they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And they know that everybody knows that the Republicans cut the ACA subsidies, that they cut the Medicaid. Everybody knows that already. So they know when it goes up, double, triple, whatever the hell it goes up, it's going to be this president and the Republicans' fault. They know that. America know who cut what. Democrats ain't in charge of jack shit. They ain't in charge of jack shit. So it is what it is. Why do you hate half the country? What do you mean, why do I hate half the country? Why does the other half hate? Why does 2/3 of the country or 1/3 of the country feel as though their agenda is the right agenda for the rest of the country? This is what we keep saying. We keep saying the rest of the country does not want what this president is doing. It's not a matter of hating half the country. You all, Republicans, MAGA, you guys hate us. Every time you open your mouth, you crash out. What about abortion? What about trans? What about gay? We hate gay. We hate trans. We hate abortion. We hate brown. We hate immigration. We hate Muslims. We hate Sharia law. We hate blacks. We hate. Every time y'all jump into the conversation or the damn chat, that's the first thing we hear. We hate gay. How y'all don't know what a girl is? How y'all don't know what a man is? How y'all like people being in the bathroom? Every time y'all get into a chat, it's something that you hate. It's not us Democrats hating you. It's you all hating the rest of us. Please get it correct.
I can't tell you, but we have a lot of Democrats want this plan to happen. They would love to see the money go to the people and the people go out and get their own health care. And there would be nothing like it.
Are you planning to replace cash?
Crashing out already. Syndicate leader. Crashing out already.
No, he's doing a good job. Cash Patel? No, he's doing a great job, I think.
This week we saw those cases against James Comey and Letitia James tossed out.
That's the first thing, develop it. That's the first thing. You see, illegal immigrant Arab suspect. Wow. That's the first thing you all jump into the chat and say. You're an idiot. Everything. I'm listening to your president say what he's saying, and you're saying, I'm the liar. Your president said they cut the ACA. Republicans cut the ACA. They cut Medicare subsidies for those millions of people. The Democrats didn't cut that. The Republicans cut it. You can't dispute it, and you cannot call it a lie. They cut it. So if they cut it, that means people are going to lose their subsidies and their ACA and their insurance because the Republicans didn't want to give it to them. So how is that my fault? How am I the one that's lying? We've already disputed and they've already debunked the illegal immigrants getting Medicaid. Why do we have to keep going over that same thing, syndicate leader? Why do we have to keep going over that same thing? Wow. Wow. They're in the chat talking about illegal immigrants getting Medicaid. Wow.
Do you still have faith in Lindsay Halligan?
Oh, she's great. I think she's great. They got out on a technicality, and you'll see what happens from here on. But if you look at the...
See, here's the thing, syndicate leader. You say illegal immigrants don't need to get medical insurance. And someone said, because it's not their money. So seeing as how they pay into the system more than what they get out, how is it that they're getting stuff for free? This is what I'd like to know. They pay more into the system than they get out. They can't get Social Security. They can't get Medicaid. They can't get food stamp. Yes, they do, syndicate. See, I'm not finna argue with you if you don't do facts. If you don't do research, I can't talk to you. I cannot talk to you if you have not done any research. No, I just have a headache. That's all.
Actual charges. I think anybody that looks at it very fairly would say, boy, are they guilty. So let's see what happens over the next week. You know, the court didn't say you couldn't bring the case, re-bring the case.
Sure I am, Rick Copenhagen. Sure I am. That's amazing that you come in the chat and you crash out in your first couple words. That's wild to me. Proves you're stupid and don't know what you're talking about. Damn. I can't with some of y'all. I can't. I cannot with this dumb level conversation. I can't. Well, you should be happy to know that our press secretary's nephew is going to be deported just like everybody else's nephew, son, daughter. Because I got him. That's wild. Y'all come in and then crash out. What the hell? You didn't see me say anything hateful. I'm just repeating what the president said.
Yes. So they have a lot of options. They're going to call the shot. I'm not calling the shot. But Lindsay's a very talented lawyer, actually.
Mr. President, on Venezuela, sir, are you planning to talk to Nicolas Maduro?
I might talk to him. We'll see, but we're discussing that with the different staffs. We might talk about Venezuela.
Yeah, but we still on the brink. We are still on the brink of them going to war. They still haven't pulled back yet. So, this is what I meant to show you all earlier, but I didn't. I'm sorry.
Van Epps's win. The 7th Congressional District stretches along Tennessee's border with Kentucky and Alabama, a deep red region that former Representative Mark Green held since 2018. Now Matt Van Epps is in the running on the Republican side.
And thank you to the thousands of conservative patriots across this district who showed up and trusted me with your vote.
Afton Bain is a Democratic nominee and will be moving forward in the congressional race.
Because of the work we've done, I'm very grounded in the fact that we have run a wonderful campaign. All of these people are here to support me, and we've created a vision of what Tennessee can be.
Yes. So we are hoping December 2nd, we have to get all of those people out. Hold on. Here's the this is the thing I need to show you.
Our next election, our next readout, a very Republican district. You wouldn't normally talk about this district being at all potentially competitive, except here's what's been happening in recent elections. You know, in New Jersey here, Democratic landslide in the governor's race. But the key was this. Look, Trump had lost this state by 6 points to Kamala Harris last year. New Jersey went up to a 14-point margin. Same thing happened in Virginia. This comes on the heels of what we've had 4 special elections for the House so far this year. And in all 4 of them, the Democrats.
Oh, by the way, just because a person is black doesn't mean black people vote for them. The person who lost their race in, I think what was her name? Some weirdo in, what was her name? I forgot. Some weirdo in, what was that race? Virginia, somewhere. She lost her race. She was a black lady, but she was a little goofy, wonky. Yes. The whole point.
Virginia, this comes on the heels of what we've had 4 special elections for the House.
What was her name? Earl Sears or something? Just because they're black doesn't mean black people vote for them. We normally will look at the issues and then we will vote accordingly. We don't just vote because we got a Republican next to our name like you guys do. We actually fight over our candidates and try to figure out which ones have the policies that we like. That's why the vote for Harris was such a split, because we just don't vote for anybody. Look at Syndicate Leader yet again in the chat talking about trans and gays. Jesus, this is why your party is losing, sir. Please be quiet about gays and trans. Stop doing that. Nobody cares about that. We have bigger fish to fry.
House so far this year, and in all 4 of them, the Democrats have overperformed relative to 2024.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the Midas Touch Network. December 2nd. Mark it down, especially if you live in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. This is our next test. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is a steep hill to climb. Trump won this district by 22 points in 2024. But the fact that Republicans are now panicking over what is happening here, it's telling. They cannot afford to lose this one. And even if they win, if the margin is single digits, it throws their entire 2026 game plan into chaos.
So, President, like I was saying, President Trump won this Tennessee 7 by 20 some points. If this girl gets it down to single digits, she gets it down to 2 or 5, she loses by 2 or 3 points, it's over for the Republicans. It's over. And that's a deep red state. If she gets anywhere in the single digits, this is what he's trying to say.
All those redistricting games, they're out the window if it's even close in a district like the Tennessee 7th. But, and there are a lot of caveats here, with the candidate that Dems have running, we actually have a shot. Afton Bain is exactly the kind of person we want carrying the torch for us, and she's doing the work. I flew down to the district to talk with her and get a read on the race. Here's our conversation from a bar outside Fort Campbell.
I'm here with Afton Bain, who is running for Congress in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. Tell me where we are right now and why it looks so cool. We just did something very cool here. They moved the bottles from the bar, but I imagine you have a favorite Tennessee drink as well.
Yeah, I do, of course. I mean, any Tennessee whiskey at home of Jack Daniels. But so we're in Clarksville, Tennessee right now in the 7th Congressional District. Clarksville is home to Fort Campbell, which straddles the Kentucky-Tennessee border.
soldiers have been shot in Washington, D.C. You can see it right there. She just confirmed it. 2 National Guard soldiers shot in Washington, D.C. This is just breaking news. I don't have many details right now, but hang on a moment here. I'm sorry. Just give me a moment. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. So we are bringing you live coverage here. Hopefully I'll have some video soon for this. But again, 2 National Guard soldiers confirmed shot in Washington, D.C. And give me a moment here. That has just been confirmed by, hold on a second here, by Kristi Noem. All right, give me a moment here. One suspect is in custody. The DC police says a suspect is in custody. One suspect is in custody. Now, I don't know, was this an intentional shooting of these soldiers or not? I don't know. Give me a moment here, just getting everything organized here. Hold on a moment. I think I have a live for you. Just give me a moment here. Hang on one second. Okay, I don't have a live yet that I can show. Soon I will have live footage that I can show you. But again, 2 National Guard soldiers shot. 1 suspect is in custody. I don't know. CNN is reporting that several people were shot, including at least 1 National Guardsman. But Kristi Noem now confirms that this was a couple blocks. It's 2 or 3 blocks away from the White House. I'll show you on a map where this is. Just give me a quick moment here, guys. And I just need to get things on my screen here so I can see them. But we are bringing you live breaking news coverage. I don't know their conditions at the moment. Let me, I'll get some reporting for you. Again, sorry, just getting all set up here so I can.
No, somebody rang my doorbell. Somebody rang my doorbell. I had to run and give somebody a pie for Thanksgiving. That's why I was busy.
See different reports at the same time.
So somebody, National Guard soldier shot in Washington. Wow. One is gone and the other one crew. Wow.
So just hang on one moment here. Thanks for your patience. Let me just get set up a little bit more.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Okay.
When did this start? Let me see.
Hang on.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's see.
So real quick, here is Google Maps. Okay. And there is the White House right there in the middle. See, that's the White House. And then about 3 blocks away, right up here, it says it on Google Maps, it's the southeast corner of that intersection, near a bus stop, near the...
Wait a minute, did they say these were Democrats? Wait a minute, did they say anything about what, who, and what? What do you mean, Democrats? You Republicans always talking about y'all got guns and whatnot, and we don't have no guns, and we limp-wristed liberals and X, Y, and Z. Why y'all always think it's us shooting people when the overwhelming majority of people that have shot folks this year are right-wing white males? What the hell?
Just give us a standby.
Hang on.
I don't hear nobody saying nothing about no Democrats. What are you talking about?
I'm going to have possibly another live shot too, so I'm going to keep an eye on that.
Stand by. To this bus, there's another bus just behind me. Yeah, right now we're standing with Michael Jones. Thank you so
Secret
much for
Service
taking
police
time
and
to talk with us.
ATF
I know you
police
said
there, I
you
see.
didn't quite see who we saw as the aftermath. What exactly did you say?
Very simple word, deadly. Chaos, you can see it on both sides of K Street, away from the Paris West, just to Russia. Excitement and fear.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me see what's going on. We're gonna update some more stuff. What's going on?
News on right there in a digital form. We come back live with some breaking news that we are monitoring outside near the White House. We are learning from the Associated Press reporting right now that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot near the White House. Active investigation is going on right now, and you can see the report there from the AP. Darlene Superville saying 2 National Guard members have been shot in Washington, D.C., and their condition isn't known at this time. We want to go out to the coverage of Fox 5 DC.
Okay, so
and
I'm just
looks
picking up
like
the coverage.
they are on this right now. Let's just show you the vantage point and the scene that you are seeing right now
we're hearing from
play out in
sources
DC. Let's listen in from Fox 5 DC.
There was reportedly an active shooter near 17th and I Streets. You see DC police on scene. More than a dozen cruisers are there near 17th and I. This is near the White House.
Yeah, so Homa, the National Guard, as we know, they have been stationed across the city with mainly a support role for that federal surge that President Trump put into effect over the summer. But we have also seen a scaling back. We have also seen legal challenges to it. We know that some were supposed to be sent home. There was a recent ruling that the Guard was here illegally, but there was a 3-week wait for the Trump administration to be able to challenge that. So still a lot of people stationed here from not just here in D.C. as well, but also Guard members from Ohio, Louisiana, Tennessee, West Virginia as well.
And if you've been in D.C., in and around the district, anytime in the last few months, you have seen them. They are at metro stops. They are at the National Mall. They have been walking all around city streets. Chris, like you said,
National Guard shot in the
been
head.
starting to dwindle their numbers down.
We also remember there was
one was shot in the head. Hold up. 9 times out of 10, that sounds like a marksman, somebody that
debate over whether or not they would be armed.
Y'all the one trained with them guns. Stop it.
When they were on the street, whether they would be carrying weapons with them. So that is probably one of the major questions here too, is whether or not, if this was a random attack, if they were armed and able to even defend themselves.
And, right now, MPD saying that they're on scene. It's an active shooting, 17th and I Street. They're asking people avoid the area. They're shutting down streets. It appears that the White House area around the White House may be locked down.
You said they walked up and did it? They just walked up and did it? Wow.
Yeah, Missy, you are in and around the White House so often. When something like this happens, we know they're the most well-trained people in the world.
Y'all always say it's the Democrats, X, Y, and Z. But it don't be the Democrats. It be y'all's wild side. I'm not picking a side one way or the other. You don't know who shot these people. You need to stand back and find out who shot these people.
World around that building.
Right. So we know that Secret Service immediately responded to it. And I'm sure that...
What do you mean, who else would it be? It would be your white, goofy, white national Christian, goofy Mormon people. Stop it. Them ain't black. Them ain't Democrats.
East Exec and West Exec and the road that divides the White House and the Treasury building. Remember, there are employees probably at the Department of Treasury right now that are under lockdown as well. It's good to know for the viewers that the president and the first lady both left yesterday to Florida for Thanksgiving. So we know that the president isn't in the White House at this time. I'm sure that there are still senior advisors and maybe even some folks over at Treasury that are still in on Wednesday. If I was at the White House, I would still be working at this Wednesday, and will probably be not allowed to exit until it's given the all clear, which from the looks of it is going to take a long time to figure this out. And right now there are a lot of road closures in and around the area. They're shutting down pedestrian.
That's wild as hell. That's wild as hell, syndicate leader. You're racist saying it was a white person. I said it was a Christian nationalist Mormon folk. Is those white people? You said those were white people. I didn't say anything about white people. What I said was I was following the logical track that track of the men that have been out here shooting and putting people, taking people, I hate to say the word, no, giving people dirt naps. Most of those people have come from religious backgrounds with Mormon backgrounds. So if you say they're white, then oh well, then they're white. So that's basically who's been taking folks out for the past couple of months. Stop it.
And vehicle traffic between the 500 and 900 blocks of 17th Street. That goes from New York Ave to K Street Northwest and the 800 block of Connecticut Avenue.
Thank you, Libet. I didn't say anything about X, Y, and Z. So the whole point is I'm going by the track record. The track record is these X, Y, and Zs have been committing the shooting in X, Y, and Z for the past couple months. You can look it up on the statistics. So if that means that they're white, then that means that they're white. Don't be mad at me because they are white. Okay? Don't be mad at me. So just take it for what it is.
From 8th Street to I Street Northwest. So
that would be a fluke if they were, it would be way out of the realm of possibility if they were black. But I'm taking it as being, I don't know why somebody say Arab, because I don't even know.
This is going to be a very active, very long investigation. We're just getting this information into the newsroom right now, but as of now, the AP is reporting that 2 National Guard members have been shot in D.C. This is, again, just a few blocks away from the White House. And we are not aware of what their condition is. But initially, sources are telling us that there was an active shooter in the area of 17th and I Street. A lot of road closures.
Well, apparently you don't know. Apparently you have the wrong info, because this other group of people saying that they were dirt napped. So if they were dirt napped by this other group of people,
CNN says the motive is still unclear at the early stage of the investigation, according to a source familiar with the investigation. But again, CNN reporting that nobody else was shot. The 2 National Guardsmen who were killed, and the hold on, I have a different video I can show you too. The 2 National Guardsmen who were killed and the suspect.
I don't care. The possibility and probability. The possibility that they're white is high. The probability that they're white is equally high. So if I said white, then that's what I meant. Stop getting offended. Don't get offended. Y'all lose your mind when somebody tell the truth. Every time you run across a statistic and say the propensity of you getting harmed by a black person is high. So I'm saying the probability of you getting shot by a white Mormon Christian nationalist is high. Oh, well. Get over it. Having conniptions in the goddamn chat for the truth.
Hang on.
All right, then. Then this is the truth, Mr. Pepper. Then this is the truth. The possibility, probability, and possibility of getting broke off by somebody that's Christian nationalist, Mormon, religious, X, Y, and Z is very high. So now, because I'm statistically saying a truth, you're upset. But you don't mind throwing it in my face that black people are violent. So, oh well, you white Christian nationalist dudes, white people like to shoot people like this. So, oh well.
A moment here. There's another shot right here.
Yo,
I have two
wild.
shots for you.
I ain't upset at all. I'm straight.
Oh, wait a second. Hang on a moment. Is this the wrong one?
I just want to see what do they have any information about the shooter? Is he Arab like somebody said, or is he white like somebody said, or is he black? Who is he? What is it? What is he affiliated at? Did they? I'm an active shooter. Does that mean he ran off, shot somebody, and ran off? I don't know. This ought to be interesting to find out.
Which one is this?
I want to know the motive. That's who cares.
I'm sorry. I have to show you a different shot. That was not the.
See, that's how I feel when I hear somebody come up with the statistics about black folks. When I hear people like Charlie Kirk, oh, you're 13% of the population, but y'all commit 50% of the crime. Yeah, that's exactly what I say. Dumb racist. Yes, please do. Give me a thumbs down. And while you're at it, get out of my chat. Hit the door, dude. Hit the door.
The right shot. I thought it was the right shot.
Well, when you tell the truth, when you hear some truth, they don't like it. I told the truth. I didn't lie. The probability and possibility. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right.
I am looking.
That's where you're wrong, Jib. Why don't you look at the statistics again? We're 13% of the population, and we get arrested for 50% of the crimes, not convicted. Please look at that. Arrested is different from convictions. Please learn the difference.
At a video right now that I got to look at this again. What is that right there?
Look at what again?
I'm looking at a different video, a replay of a video of somebody being loaded into an ambulance.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna figure it out.
So I'll need to keep an eye on that. I'll have to watch that when I get a second.
Yeah, please do. So we can figure it out. So this is on the eve of Thanksgiving. Some idiot decided to pull a gun out and end a couple people's lives for no reason. Active shooter. 2 National Guardsmen lost their lives right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I'm not going to show this on the air. I'm looking at a video showing it looks like one of the National Guardsmen being loaded into an ambulance. I'm just not going to, I mean, the person ended up dying, so I'm not going to show that. It's a video of the person on a stretcher being loaded into an ambulance.
Good. Okay. Okay.
Oh, wait, breaking. Hold on a second.
Whoa, what?
Breaking news. Oh my gosh, look at this from the governor. Look at this from the governor of West Virginia, who earlier had posted. He earlier said they both died. Now look at this new post from the governor of West Virginia. We are now receiving conflicting reports about the condition of our 2 Guard members and will provide additional updates once we receive more complete information. Oops, sorry. There's a typo on the screen. My bad. Sorry about that. So I'm going with critically injured right now, and we may have to update that, but oh, hold on a moment here. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Getting ready. There's supposed to be a press conference soon.
Uh-oh. One in critical condition. Let's see. What's going on?
So let me just get ready to show you that.
Well, what happens to the where do you cut?
There's the shot right there
Okay.
of the
Here we go.
of the microphones. But
you need to calm down, Heath Woods. You're the one who came in here and started calling people racist. Don't come into my chat and lie on me. I never said anything about being racist. I never said any of that. I said the assumption that you can make. No, I didn't. You a lie. You're the one who came in there. I said the possibility, the probability of it being a white Christian nationalist or a Mormon or somebody religious is X, Y, and Z. You all made that extrapolation as to whether it was white or not. And I might have said white because most of the time, most of the reports say it's a white nationalist, Christian, whatever. That doesn't make me racist. So that's the whole point. Don't make me racist. Because you all don't seem to think you're racist when you say 50%. So if you can say 13% of the black people commit 50% of the crime and you're not racist, then that means I'm not racist. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Get out of my chat. Get out of my chat. That's just dumb. You see how you said you were racist? You see how that me stating those facts makes it racist. That's crazy. Y'all need to grow up. Just because people say facts doesn't make them racist. Because you all said the same. And you see, I can't believe I'm dealing with this dumb shit. They said, Charlie Kirk is not racist when he says all these statistics. Charlie Kirk is not racist when he says these statistics. But the minute HQ says that most of the people who make shots, who do headshots, who do the killing, who do X, Y, and Z in this country, who are usually a Christian, Mormon, nationalist, and most of those people are white, I'm racist because I said that? Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. If Charlie Kirk was not racist for saying 13% of you guys are commit 50% of the crime, if he's not racist for saying that, then I'm not racist for saying what I did. You guys are crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Charlie Kirk is not racist. Okay, then shut the hell up. Just because I mentioned a FBI report that says most of the killing comes from Christian nationalist, Mormon white men doesn't make me racist. Y'all goofy.
Oh, just really wild that the governor about a half hour ago posted that both the soldiers were dead, and now he's saying it's not clear. Actually is.
And I don't recall me saying he was racist. But yet and still, if I say something about you white folks, any white folks, then I'm racist. How is it I'm quoting statistics like you said Charlie Kirk was, and he's not racist, but I am? Shut your ass up.
I'll put both shots on for you. I have two different shots here. So
the report is the FBI report. It's the FBI report that Donald Trump ordered to be done. Donald Trump ordered an FBI report to be done. And you know what happened? They took it off the website when they found out that the report said that most of the people who were doing the killing or shooting in the United States were white Mormon males from a religious background. Go to the White House website and find it on there, because it says most of the killing that happens in this country are white, male, religious, Mormon, maybe, or Christian nationalist background. That's what the report said from Donald Trump. And if you would have been listening a couple months, you would have seen that. So when I quote that report, don't get mad at me. Get mad at Donald Trump for ordering the report. Just because I said it doesn't make me racist. And I'm going by the same logic you all had for Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk wasn't racist when he said 13 and 50%, so I ain't racist for talking about FBI saying it was white Christian national Mormon men. Thank you very much.
Let me do this. Make this one a little smaller here. Now we have the microphone, and you can see FBI. Oh, FBI with a camera, it looks like. The person holding a camera on the left. Look on the left. The person has a camera. No, but this does appear to be an attack.
The FBI report is the one that said 13%, 50%. The FBI report, nobody disputes 13%, 50%. 50% is 50% arrested, not 50% convicted. You can be arrested and not go to jail. You can be arrested and be the wrong person. 13% of the population gets arrested for 50% of the crimes. Arrested. Please know the difference. And that was also in the FBI report. Jeez.
Hold on. We have a comment from interfere with it.
Very productive meetings, but I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America, heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. And so we're following this very closely. We're getting information rapidly. I mentioned the faith of this country, the Christian faith, the prayers. I would ask for prayers for our National Guardsmen.
Excuse me, Mr.
Appeals to heaven for our National Guardsmen, for their families, on bended knee as a War Department, as a nation.
Excuse me.
We will never back down.
Excuse me.
Think about them right now.
Venezuela.
We had a couple of great, productive meetings with the President and Minister of Defense here, where we are dedicated to the counter-cartel effort here. Criminality knows no boundaries, whether it's the United States of America and and Washington, D.C., or it's the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere, we are going to go after narco terrorists. It will not stand. Our borders will be secure, whether it's the Dominican Republic or the United States of America, and we look forward to working with our partners to make it happen. You know, President Trump believes in a clear principle: peace through strength. You get peace by being strong. And if you're a narco-terrorist who wants to bring drugs to the United States of America, we will find you, we will fix you, and we will finish you, because we have all the rights in the world. We've got lots of attorneys and lots of intel analysts, and we know exactly who we're targeting and why. If you're involved in that conduct, we will kill you. It's that deadly serious because of the poison.
Whoa! Did he just say we will kill you? Wow.
That has made its way into the American public for far too long. President Trump is serious about it. We're serious about it. And we're proud to be working with the Dominican Republic, another country very serious about ensuring that cartels don't set the agenda. We do. Thank you very much. It's been a great series of meetings.
Wow.
All right, so that was Secretary Hegseth. All right, hang on a moment here, guys. We're going to get a press conference soon from DC law enforcement, maybe federal law enforcement. I'm not sure, but press conference is getting ready there.
We will kill you
in DC.
Wow.
And we are bringing you live coverage.
I don't know if it's false.
Wow.
You're good, Joe.
I don't know why the governor of West Virginia hasn't deleted his original post. It's very strange. The governor of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey, 44 minutes ago, this is still posted. He said, "It's with great sorrow we can confirm both members of the West Virginia National Guard who were shot earlier today have passed away." But then 21 minutes ago, he said, "We're now receiving conflicting reports about the condition of our 2 Guard members and will provide additional updates once we receive more complete information." So why not delete this one?
Wow.
Still there. They're both still there. Somebody said AP says they're dead. Well, the headline on AP is that they have died according to the state's governor. So some people in the chat are saying, well, this source says they're dead or this source says they're dead. But you might want to read the article because a bunch of these sources are basing it on what the governor said, and the governor has walked back what he said. So we don't know right now. Let's hope they're still alive.
Sorry. No, you're fine. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Dion, you still hear me? You still hear me?
Oh, hold on a second. Intel Point Alert just said that Janine Pirro said, "May they rest in peace." Now, I don't know that she knows. Janine Pirro,
oh, you good with my sound?
U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Look what she posted.
Check 1, 2,
Thanks
3,
to
4,
Intel
5,
Point
6,
Alert
7,
for
8,
pointing
9,
this
10.
out.
Check 1, 2, 3,
So she
4,
said
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We good?
God bless the 2 National Guardsmen who've been shot and killed. She says they've been killed. But again, is she basing that on the West Virginia's governor's post? Has she seen that the West Virginia governor then walked back his post? I don't know. So she just posted, though, 2 minutes ago, saying they've been killed. But I wouldn't, she might just be basing that off the governor's earlier post.
Hegseth is just trying to promote. He's just trying to come across as having. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. I don't know what the hell. Instead of just trying to find, instead of just trying to be goofy, he should have just let it play out before he opened his mouth and said X, Y, and Z. He shouldn't have said anything. We'll hunt you down. We will kill you. What kind of statement is that on TV? Why would you say that instead of waiting for the facts to come out? It's crazy. It's wild. Instead of waiting for the facts to come out.
A lid, which for the press pool, which means President Trump does not plan to speak on camera about the shooting today from Florida. Again, the White House has called a lid.
So he's not speaking on camera. Okay. Oh, let me see. DC shooters. I want some analysis or something.
He could post a video about it. I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
Well, he won't be doing that, so we won't see. We want to get this press conference, but I wanted to get that press conference. Of course they're not.
And we've been focused on federal law enforcement, particularly ICE. We've seen an increase, and the FBI, when they put out their numbers, their data, looking back at 2024, one thing they noted is that ambush style attacks on law enforcement have increased. We've looked back at the last 5 years, looking at fraternal order police data, and the numbers have stayed high, hovering between 300 and 400, just under 400 law enforcement officers shot in the line of duty every year. Now, not all of these are targeted attacks like the one that like it appears to have been today, but an increasing number of them are. And so that is very worrisome. And the threats on law enforcement have also significantly increased according to statements provided to CBS News by federal law enforcement. So that's the context, that's the backdrop where we see this attack play out. And of course, my biggest question right now that we have yet to be answered is motive.
Anna Schechter will follow this and we'll circle back with you. I now want to go to reporter Julie Donaldson with WTTG in Washington, D.C., who is at the scene right now. Julie, what can you tell us?
It's still a lot of information that's being gathered. And from a lot of people that I talked to when I first got here at 3 o'clock on the scene, they're saying it took place. They heard shots fired, like a boom, 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 like fireworks kind of going off around 2:15. And since then, there have been mixed reports from what people have heard. 2 shots. I've heard some people say that they heard 3 shots. But at the time when they did hear it, it was chaos. People running scared in all directions trying to get away from what they knew was a very dangerous scene. And since then, the police, they say, responded quickly, and this has been locked down. When we first got here, we were able to get up to 17th Street, but it wasn't long after that that the police wanted to be able to expand their active scene, active search, be able to push all the media back, and there's dozens of media here. And on top of that, there's a lot of people. This is the holidays. People are in Washington, D.C., visiting with family, coming up here to see the sights and the sounds. There's been a lot of pedestrian traffic. They pushed us quickly back to 16th Street. So that's where we are right now, 16th and I. The information, again, that we are getting from those that saw and heard what happened is mixed. And of course, we really want to wait until we get the information, which will be at a press conference the police are holding. I am told the mayor will be there as well, that she was being briefed on all of this. That's going to be happening over where Nana is. So as soon as we do have that, we know Nana will bring that information. But
and we'll certainly bring that to you live as well. Let's bring in CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd. Sam, what information do you have now?
Well, in my experience, Lindsay, what we're waiting for in this press conference is to hear any specific details that
that law enforcement and the mayor can release about the suspect and the condition of the National Guardsman. In my experience in these moments, the goal is to be transparent with the public about the level of threat that the public may still face, about the condition of those that are injured or potentially killed, and of course, any information about the suspect. We may also hear officials ask for the public's health and gathering information about the suspect and motives. We've seen that play out in other instances like this. So that's what I'll be watching for in this press conference. In this moment, we're all thirsting for information, but there is very little. Based upon the location of this attack, there are and were various federal and local law enforcement agencies that are just regularly on the scene. There are 2 metro stops in just a 4-block vicinity in this area. So Metropolitan Transit Police, Metropolitan Police, U.S. Secret Service, the Park Service, ATF. It's an alphabet soup of law enforcement officials that are both on scene because of this incident and that just regularly exist in this area because of its very prime location in our nation's capital.
Yeah, and Sam, National Guard troops, as we know, were in plain sight. They were deployed in D.C. since President Trump issued an emergency order in August. He billed the deployment as a crime-fighting mission that also included the federal takeover.
I feel bad for the families. The families, my goodness, thinking that your family is going to come home for Thanksgiving and some goofy idiot decides that they're going to mess up everything. I feel bad.
Of local police departments. So National Guard were in neighborhoods, they were patrolling train stations, they were at highway checkpoints. What does that tell you in terms of the presence there? It was near a metro stop and near the White House. Is there any kind of motive or information we can glean from that?
We just don't know. The National Guard were deployed to Washington, D.C. under the president's federal authority, Title 10. I have seen them quite regularly walking along Massachusetts Avenue at Union Station, at the train station, in and around the White House, in really various parts of D.C. Their deployment to Washington, D.C. under the president's federal authority was certainly very controversial.
Right.
At the same time, we don't know the suspect's motivation yet and whether he targeted these individuals because they were National Guardsmen. What we do know is that threats against law enforcement and against individuals perceived to be associated with the U.S. government have risen dramatically over the past several years. We've seen that affecting all kinds of different members of the government and the military and law enforcement, the federal, state, and local levels. So while we do wait to hear about the motive, that is a context we're facing, and there remain thousands of other National Guardsmen currently in Washington, D.C., and deployed elsewhere throughout the country. So in the immediate aftermath of an event like this, a big concern for law enforcement is copycat attacks, individuals who feel inspired to act out as they see this play out on their television screens, wall-to-wall coverage of this tragedy. So ostensibly, intelligence and information gathering about potential copycat attacks with associated threats is probably an overdrive in this moment.
Absolutely. Sam, stick around. I want to go to some interviews and just the latest information from Pete Hegseth. He was just talking about adding more troops to the area. Let's take a listen, then I'll get your comments on the other side.
We're not listening to him again. Hold on. We're skipping him. Skipping him. We're gonna pull up the other guy. We ain't gonna listen to him. The goofiness. No more. Let's get to the press conference. The press conference. They're about to start that. See what they have to say. What update? What press conference? Well, it really doesn't matter whether they Democrat or Republican.
As you can see, there are microphones set up.
So they're about to talk right here. Okay, cool.
Oh, this is interesting. Faytuck's network mentioned, I missed this from ABC News. ABC News says it's a man and a woman. That's the first I've heard about that. Because other outlets say it's CNN and MS Now say it's 2 National Guardsmen, although maybe that's just the generic term. ABC reports it's a man and a woman, the Guard members, and that they're both in critical condition.
What?
That's the first I've heard of this. Well, let's just wait and see what the authorities say. FBI Washington field office says they are working with our law enforcement partners to investigate the shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. this afternoon. We have no further details to provide at this time due to the ongoing investigation.
Right. Right. I mean, the thing is, we have a suspect, and I guess they're waiting for all the authorities to come down, do their talking. Everybody get their talking points put together. What the hell? Because the other guy was talking, other person was trying to get Pete Hegseth talk, and and they're the ones that are closer. That guy is the closest to the damn microphone. He's closest to. He's watching them actually set up.
To the fact.
He's watching them actually set up.
Putting more National Guardsmen in D.C. isn't going to solve for not catching this on the front end, but certainly beefing up security is one piece of the puzzle. Whether National Guardsmen are best positioned to do that job versus calling in law enforcement from other jurisdictions with which Washington, D.C. has mutual aid agreements, that's an outstanding question. Has been, frankly, a source of debate about whether the National Guardsmen are the best positioned to fight the crime that President Trump is focused on mitigating here in Washington, D.C.
And as it stands now, a heavy police presence after the 2 National Guardsmen were shot, again, happening just blocks away from the White House. Sam, what does that tell you in terms of the proximity to the White House? I know that we don't know a motive or the reasonings or the cause, but it certainly was very close to other security concerns just blocks away.
Well, certainly anything that happens in close proximity to the White House is of foremost concern to the U.S. Secret Service and other federal and local law enforcement that are charged with protecting the seat of U.S. executive power here in the United States. At this time, we have no indication that the suspect was focused on harming the president or individuals working at the White House, in the Eisenhower Executive Office building, at the U.S. Treasury, or at other government buildings in the area. We just don't know. At this time, there has been no statement from the White House or from the Secret Service that the individual was trying to breach the White House grounds or anything of that nature. But again, we're in the very nascent stages of this investigation. The location does tell us that there was a very heavy saturation of law enforcement officials, leaving aside the National Guard in the area. So we don't yet know who the suspect for time.
I want to bring in our Jay and Brian, who's there on the scene. You have some other witnesses, I am told. Jay, I know our photographer, Chris Plater, Jay, was there on the scene getting pictures even of those National Guard members on the ground getting worked on by EMS. Let me know if we can talk to him. Tell me who you've been talking to. Who's with you, Jay?
So we've got a number of eyewitnesses here lined up for you. One of them is Chris. Kira, we're going to go to him in a moment. But first, I want to bring in Stacey Walters here, a Howard student who was in an Uber when you heard some of these shots. Howard alum. Yeah. You were in an Uber when you heard some of the shots. Is that right? Yeah. Walk us through. So you're in the car. You hear the shots. What happens?
I was in the Uber. I heard boom, boom twice. I was looking at my cell phone, and the Uber driver said, "Why are all these people running?" So then I looked out the window, and it was little children. They looked probably about 5 years old on both sides of the street running, and adults. And whoever was supervising the children said, "Go, go, run." Then I heard someone yell, "Help, help," in the direction of the shooting. But I didn't see who yelled help. I don't know if it was the individual who was shot or someone yelling for help for the individual. We're on 17th Street Northwest. So I knew I wanted to like research Slater. So I asked the Uber driver, what's the cross street? But he didn't know. And I was just at lunch going to go to the dry cleaners. And then the guards, I don't know if they're guards, Secret Service, but their uniform definitely with government level said, you have to turn around. You have to turn around. And that was around 2:15 p.m.
Stacey, compared to where we are now, right, using this as our place, where were you approximately when you heard these shots?
That's the thing. I never paid attention. We were turning on to 17th Street.
Okay.
Because that's why I even asked the driver.
So you were down the street, turning onto this street.
We were so close that the shooting had just happened in the road. They had just, like, they were still letting people through. But by the time they got to us, they said, you have to turn around.
When you saw those people running, what went through your mind?
The children. They were little children. And it's such a beautiful day. You know, that's the first thing I thought about, like, who would do this? It's getting ready to be the holidays. And so many children, they just weren't on one side of the road. They were on both sides of the road, little children running.
When you heard those pops, as you described, did you immediately think it was a shooting?
No, I'm originally from Connecticut. I only came to DC for Howard University. I'm from the suburbs. Like, I've never been so close to anything like this. I didn't know there were gunshots. All I know, I heard boom, boom 2 times.
Stacey Walters, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Kira, if you will indulge me here, I'm also going to bring in Chris Plater, who's been behind the camera for all of this coverage here. It was Chris Plater who was walking back to work at our ABC bureau, which is just a few blocks away, who heard that gunfire, and then he saw what appears to be those National Guards members wounded lying there on the ground. I want to bring Chris in here as he steps around the camera. And Chris, you've been with us for the entire day. It was you who called this in to our bureau. What did you see at first? What did you hear?
Okay, so it's what I heard first, and what I heard were
all right, we gotta remove you because here we go, right here. Here we go. Cash Patel, shut your ass up. Hold on.
I have 2 shots here, so I'll get you the best audio. Hopefully the audio is good on this one. It seems okay, but I will keep it. If I have to switch, I'll switch the shot. That is FBI Director Kash Patel.
Yeah, he's short.
Are we ready?
Ready. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kash Patel, FBI Director. We're here to brief you on the tragic events that happened today at approximately 2:15 local time in Washington, D.C., where 2 of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice.
Whoa.
Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA. And we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to Chief Carroll of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief here at the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the DC National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring him into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital. Madam Mayor?
To want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the guardsmen and to the guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. I am joined by members and leadership from the DC National Guard, from the West Virginia National Guard, United States Secret Service, Deputy Mayor Pia, Fire Chief Donnelly, and Metro's General Manager Randy Clark. And we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law. I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief.
Sure. So no, at this time, there's no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here in DC?
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Mayor, can you tell us any more details on the condition of the two National Guardsmen and whether or not anyone else?
Hey, Tahism. Hey, hello.
For the FBI Director, you said that we'll make sure we find the perpetrators for this act. So just to clarify, the person believed to be responsible is in custody. And
hey, Rainbow Kid.
Suspect.
Sure. So I can start out again. Chief Carroll from MPD. So both of the individuals, the Guard members, they are in critical condition at a local hospital at this time, being treated. At this point, we have no other suspects. We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members.
Have you got any sense of motive?
No, at this time, obviously, we're very in the preliminary stages of investigation. There's a lot of things, a lot of agents that are here from various federal agencies, law enforcement agencies. We have the full power of the FBI and our federal partners here in the task force. So we're looking at all those different aspects, but we don't have any motive. The National Guardsmen that were shot, I'm told they were armed.
Did they get off shot?
At this time, that's part of the preliminary investigation.
Can you explain how the suspect was apprehended?
Chief.
Sure. So how the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the two National Guard members. So at that time, there were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
He was shot by a National Guard.
At this point, we're still investigating exactly who shot the individual. It's not clear at this time.
Chief, do you know what kind of weapon he used?
We don't know what kind of weapon. There was DC police. It happened right in front of the Metro, although there is no indication that the perpetrator was on the Metro. So there's Metro Transit Police in the area, and obviously being on 17th Street by the White House, Uniform Division of Secret Service were in the immediate area as well.
What kind of weapon the alleged perpetrators used?
We do not know at this time. It's still under investigation.
We're going to be able to take a couple more.
Has been able to question the suspect, or is his condition so severe that you haven't been able to have a conversation?
Sure. Again, so as I said, we're very preliminary in the investigation, so we're looking into all aspects of who the individual is, his connections. At this time, he's still in the hospital receiving treatment.
And I would just like, hang on. I would just like to add, the reason that this suspect is in custody is because of the bravery of the men and women of the National Guard who responded due to their extensive training to secure American lives today. There was not any further injury and any further shootings. We should highlight the fact that the men and women of law enforcement, the interagency, the Department of War, and the National Guard executed their training with great precision today and prevented an even greater tragedy from befalling us. These National Guardsmen are heroes, and we must pray for their safety and their speedy recovery. And as the chief said, we are in the preliminary stages of this investigation. We will run down every single lead, every piece of evidence. This is the power of the U.S. government at its best at the state, local, and federal level. That is why this interagency group is standing behind us to assure America and the world that we will continue to keep D.C. safe. And thankfully, we have Metropolitan Police Department, the National Guardsmen, and federal agents, and the Department of Justice and Attorney General willing to prosecute the mission to keep Americans safe. And President Trump has rightly stated that this heinous act will be investigated, and he has thanked the National Guards men and women and the men and women of law enforcement.
Thank you.
The suspect say anything at the time? Why did the West Virginia governor say
Okay. This is where we at. Okay. This is where we at. Hold on.
Control when all of this happened. It was those National Guard members that were able to subdue the suspect here, and federal law enforcement sources telling me that that suspect had a handgun on him at that time. That is the weapon that he raised that you heard law enforcement talking about there. But within moments, other law enforcement members responding from the Metropolitan Police Department, and they were joined shortly thereafter by the U.S. Secret Service, the U.S. Marshal Service, and ATF, all of them coming onto the scene. Now, moving forward, because this is an attack on a federal, is being treated as an attack on federal law enforcement officials, even though the National Guard is something a little bit different. The FBI will lead this investigation along with the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, Kash Patel mentioning how serious they are taking this matter. Nicole Skenga, thank you so much. Senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is also with us. Weijia, remind us of why the National Guard is even in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, Jerika,
why is the National Guard in D.C.?
It's an order from President Trump to activate these members of the National Guard as part of what he described as a crime-fighting mission. He often talked about the crime here in the nation's capital, along with gang violence. And so he brought in members from at least 8 states as part of a task force. And really, they are staged all across the city, but in particular in federal parks, at subways, where this unfolded just blocks away from the White House, and anywhere there is high traffic. And Jerika, I can tell you that this is certainly an area that has so many people because of its proximity to the White House, because it is a major metro stop. And so it was part of a broader effort, you may remember, too, that the president wanted to deploy these members to major cities. Of course, we saw that unfold in Los Angeles, in Memphis, Tennessee. He also attempted to do it in other cities as well. But just yesterday, President Trump talked about their presence here at an event at the White House. He said they were doing an incredible job and thanked them for their service, Jerika. So he takes a lot of pride in having these members here.
So these two people are still alive in critical condition. Okay, so this is where we at with these people. Okay, and what are they gonna do? Keep having these people that stop saying the bullshit, Jeb. Common, stop saying the bullshit. I don't know what's wrong with you. You have Democratic weird syndrome. You have something weird about. I don't know. Maybe a screw is loose. Because every time you open your mouth, there's always something weird and out of ordinary. Well, why did this put me? He just come on there and say they're alive. So now they ain't alive?
Has filed a lawsuit that is ongoing, saying that that order from President Trump was not a legal one because he doesn't have the authority to intervene in local law enforcement. And that case is ongoing, Jerika.
And speaking of the White House, Secretary Pete Hegseth just announced that the president plans to order even more troops to the nation's capital as a result of what happened today.
That's right. Secretary Hegseth spoke about this attack, and while he was addressing it, said that the president.
So did the suspect die too? I mean, they probably won't. They're in critical condition. Did the suspect die, or he's still alive too? He or she?
President has asked him to deploy about 500 additional members of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. And Hegseth says he will be in touch with the Army in order to implement that. And we know already that there are about 2,000 members here. And just this month, the order was extended to have them present through the end of February. And here in Washington, D.C., it is the D.C. National Guard that has the biggest presence. And then after that, the state of West Virginia. Of course, we know now that the 2 victims in today's attack are from that state.
Yeah, definitely praying for their families in that community. Weijia Jiang, thank you. I want to go back to Nicole Skenga. You have some new numbers on targeted and ambush-style attacks on officers, Nicole?
No, I don't look at people as Democrat or Republican. I look at crazy versus sane. A crazy person did this, regardless of whether they came from the Democrats or it came from the Republican. A crazy person did this. And you keep saying Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. You don't know. Nobody knows anything. All we know is a crackpot shot at 2 people. That's all we know. Stop. Just because you keep saying it doesn't mean that it's true. So stop saying it. It's just like me saying there's no place like home 30, 40 times. You keep saying it's a Democrat 30, 40 times. That doesn't mean any. Go look at the reports that have been released about shooters in this country. Then you might hazard a guess as to who it might be. The reports that have been put out have said most of the shootings that occur are white, male, Christian, nationalists, blah, blah, blah. But you haven't heard anybody say anything about that in the chat for a while, because we're sitting here trying to figure out who it could possibly be. The probability of it being somebody white, Christian, male, is high, but that doesn't mean it is. So you don't see me in here saying, oh yeah, it's a Christian nationalist. Oh yeah, it's a white dude. Oh yeah. You don't hear me saying that. So why do you keep running your mouth about a goddamn Democrat when you don't know?
Absolutely, Jerika. And we know that the 2 victims in today's
that's
attacks
a lie,
were, as we just
lie.
stated, members of the National Guard from West Virginia. But just to put this in context for our viewers so they understand what a sort of law enforcement is up against and what the threat environment has been like over the past several months and year. According to the National Fraternal Order of Police, as of October 31st, there have been 285 officers shot in the line of duty, 38 of them killed. There have been 58 ambush-style attacks against members of law enforcement during that time, including 19 of whom were killed. We've done a lot of reporting in this space, and we also know that the Department of Homeland Security has been sounding the alarm on this threat environment, and law enforcement officials coming under a magnifying glass. From January 21st, 2024 through November 21st, 2024, there were just 19 reported assaults against ICE law enforcement. That same number 1 year later, 238 reported assaults, just to give you a sense of what officers are up against and that threatened environment that they are facing when they are patrolling the streets of America.
You know, they never know what they're going to face each and every day. Nicole Skenga, Weijia Jiang, thank you all so much. Once again, 2 West Virginia National Guardsmen are injured after an ambush shooting.
The park is flanked fast casual restaurants and a coffee shop, as well as 2 metro stops. One witness, Mike Ryan, 55, said he was on his way to lunch nearby when he heard what sounded like gunfire. He ran a half a block away and heard another round of apparent gunfire. When he made his way back to the scene, he saw 2 National Guard members on the ground across the street with people trying to resuscitate one of them. At the same time, other National Guard members had pinned someone on the ground, he said. Another witness, Emma McDonald, said she saw one of the National Guard members carried away on a stretcher minutes after the shooting, his head covered in blood, and an automated compression system attached to his chest. Let's hope they survive.
Hi, I can hear you.
Let's hope they survive. But there's no point in it. They don't have the press conference. Nobody else is saying anything. Maybe they're just hanging around. I don't know. But they don't have anything live to say. And we're looking for any kind of live coverage.
When will we hear something more about this suspect? I do not know. There is a photo floating around that purports to be of the suspect. I don't know if that's legit, that photo.
Yeah. That's wild. That's crazy. But we don't know.
No, the DC airport is not shut down. There was briefly a ground stop there after the shooting, but that is no longer in effect.
Right. Okay. Okay. Not lying. They were not trained. Government should be removed in all cases. If sufficient. Okay. Okay. No, I mean race, religion, political.
So only one suspect.
Nation. ETC. Yeah, so only one suspect. Okay. And it was a female, it was a male and a female? That okay.
For those who didn't see it, it was not a long press conference, but maybe what I'll do for those who haven't seen it is I'm going to replay the press conference from moments ago. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say
well,
moments ago.
We ain't gonna listen to that. Nobody wants to hear that.
Is whether federal law enforcement, including the Park Police, just dozens of police cars were sort of streaming in behind me, as well as ambulances. And in that very small period of time, we know that at least one suspect used a handgun. Shots rang out, about 10 to 15 shots. There were two members of the National Guard who were patrolling as part of the president's crime task force here in D.C., both of those members from West Virginia, as you mentioned, and they sustained critical injuries. They were transported to an area hospital, including at least one of them who was taken by medevac. The suspect also in custody right now at another area hospital, and we're told is also in critical condition. But a really scary scene just 2 blocks outside of the White House. I am told by senior federal law enforcement officials that at this time there's no nexus to threats to the president himself, to the White House, or to his staff. But this, of course, comes at a time in which law enforcement has seen an increase in the number of assault-style attacks. We know that the National Fraternal Order of Police has reported at least 58 assaults, ambush-style assaults on police year to date. The Department of Homeland Security frequently talks about threats against their federal law enforcement officials, including an over 1,000% an increase in the number of assaults against ICE enforcement agents, Major. So all of this happening at a time where not only Washington is on edge, but also the country is on edge, with the National Guard deployed not only here in the nation's capital, but President Trump also having federalized National Guard in several other cities across the country.
Nicole, I want to ask you about a couple of things you mentioned. High visibility patrol for the National Guard personnel here deployed in the nation's capital. For those in our audience who may not know what that phrase means, describe what that means, and we should let our audience know that this particular area, as Sam Vinograd pointed out, is not a high crime area in Washington, D.C. for very good reasons. It's close to the White House. Law enforcement is crawling around there all the time. So this is a highly unusual circumstance. And also, as I remembered from the press briefing just a few moments ago, the National Guard personnel who were wounded were wearing, they were armed as they were doing these high visibility patrols. Describe what they were doing.
Major, that's exactly right. This is not a high crime area. This is a high law enforcement area. This is a place where on any given day, you walk on the sidewalk and you will see members of the National Guard who are deployed as part of this task force. You will see members of the Secret Service. You will see other federal law enforcement agents. Now, that high visibility patrol that we were talking about there, the motivation behind that, deterrence. This is part of the White House task force and federal law enforcement's goal of really deterring crime, of trying to bring down, more high-profile crimes like carjackings, like homicides within the nation's capital. And so oftentimes as part of that effort, we see the National Guard patrolling. You can see their weapons visible. You can see that they're wearing those sort of camouflage military fatigue-like uniforms. So there is no doubt, Major, that anyone, be it the suspect here or just a member of the public walking along the street, would have been able to identify these two members of the National Guard. This is the opposite of a sort of undercover operation where National Guard is intended to be seen. That's part of the idea here, to reduce crime by showing this united front. And just to give you a sense of how many members of National Guard were here and how much law enforcement was here, it was within seconds that other members of the National Guard were able to run to this scene and to respond as these shots were being fired. And our camera crews that happened to be near where all of this played out actually watched as members of the National Guard, as well as EMS and other MPD officers, actually gave CPR to at least one of the victims here in what was a really chilling and fast-paced scene, Major.
Nicole Skanka reporting from the scene. Thank you very much. I want to play sound from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth about a declaration that President Trump made to him about sending more National Guard personnel to the nation's capital as a result of this shooting near the White House. Please listen.
We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard to add 500.
Which means they were bold as hell. Whoever decided that they were going to do this had to be were bold as hell and did not care whether they were near the Capitol or not. Apparently, they did not care. See, and they had no way of getting away. So we can't look at that and say, well, the dude just walked right in the middle of everything and started to shoot. Why is it that he did that? Okay, just walk in the middle of all of these people and then started to shoot. That's wild. I mean, that's just wild.
Additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C.
Weija Jane joins us now.
So y'all mean to tell me that crime had not gone down? I thought crime had gone down in Washington, D.C. Crime had not gone down? It was something else that was going on?
From the newsroom here in the CBS News Bureau in Washington, D.C. Weija, the president has for weeks now been describing the deployment of not only the National Guard, but the coordinated federal task force dealing with crime in the nation's capital as an unrivaled success, describing how safe the city has become. A transformation, he has said many, many times. And what is true about heinous and random violent crime is it confounds police and it confounds even a president, because it happens even with the best efforts and the most elaborate plans to keep things and people and streets safe. that has played out quite obviously today.
You see, they made it seem as though there was no one shooter. There was only one shooter that did this. They have that shooter in custody. I mean, why they don't? I guess they're trying to get the motivation and X, Y, and Z, but they know who did what. He ain't unknown, and he probably didn't work with anybody. They saw this particular person take out a weapon and then start unloading on National Guard. So they understand. Everybody understands who he is. They're just trying to keep it under wraps and try to figure out what was he doing. Why did you do what you did? Because hey, at least they could release the suspect's picture and then at least tell us who or what he is. They know who he is. They know, they have information about who the person is. Okay. The person just don't want to release it as of now. It ain't no other suspects. They know.
Major, you're right. Just yesterday at a separate event at the White House, the president spoke about this effort, what he calls a crime-fighting mission to not only eliminate, but to deter future crime. In fact, he ordered the National Guard be activated back in August, even though it was met with controversy here in the nation's capital from elected officials, from local officials who have since challenged it in court. But Major, you are right in that President Trump, at every opportunity he gets when he talks about Washington, D.C., loves to talk about the pride he has in seeing these members of the National Guard, because he believes that they have been able to bring the crime down. And he has said repeatedly that he...
But here's my thing. What kind of crime is going on in D.C.? I don't think I've ever been to D.C. when I went to Virginia. I don't think I've ever been to D.C. Maybe not. But I mean, what kind of crime are we talking about? What's the kind of crime that happens in D.C. that the president needed to deploy? I don't think I've been to Virginia, but I don't think I've ever been to D.C. At least I can't remember. It hasn't been in recent years. My primary place is like Chicago or Atlanta or California. I don't think I've ever been to DC. It had no, I don't think I've ever been there. So my question is, it made it seem like a shithole. They made it seem like a shithole. Why is it a shithole? I have no idea. Is it true? Wow. Wow. What kind of crime? What kind of crime can they be committing that is so heinous that people get upset that the president would put National Guards on the street? What kind of crime is happening? Pickpockets? Ain't nobody getting murked out there. So why do you need the National Guard for pickpockets? Why do you need the National Guard for that? I don't understand. What's happening in DC? I don't know. That's wild.
He does, in fact, have the authority to activate them, not only here, but across the country, because he argues he is the commander of in chief. And so while that plays out in court, certainly they are here, they are present. In fact, he just signed an order this month to extend their presence through the end of February. And to your point that you were talking about with Nicole, these are folks that you see every single day. To get to work, we have to pass by them. We see them staged in public parks and certainly around public transit a lot, particularly this corner where the shooting unfolded, because its proximity to the White House. It's such a major hub for the metro that is where you would have to get off if you wanted to take the transit and go sightsee in that part of town. So Major, right now, I can tell you the White House and officials who I've talked with say they are closely monitoring the situation. They do not want to talk.
What the hell is going on in damn DC that they got a high murder rate, that all the damn congressmen and the president and All of them are in that city. Why the hell is the murder rate as high as that is? I would clear the fucking deck of that city. I would clear the fucking deck. If we see you in the vicinity of Washington, D.C., except in your neighborhood, we giving you dirt naps. We're going to unleash some gas you ain't going to wake up from. That's wild. The nation's capital, you can't even keep the nation's capital safe? And you're the people that are in charge of the police state? DOG can't even keep the capital state safe? I would be, man, it'd be dirt naps all around.
Talk about the politics of why
That's
the National
wild.
Guard is here. They are focused on the investigation and on these families who just received this horrific news, Major.
And but
they talk about suicide by cop. That's sort of the thing that went through my mind. I don't suspect this person thought they would get out of there alive. I mean, it's good that they did, because we'll have an opportunity to do an interview at some point and get more information from them. The other thing that really stands out in my mind is I know that area very well. I worked in the DC area for about 8 years, and several blocks away from there, you have FBI headquarters, you got Secret Service headquarters, DHS. Everybody, that whole area is surrounded by a law enforcement community. Not to mention the fact that the Farragut Metro stop is very popular stop for people to get off to see the White House, to walk across the lawn, to go over to see the Washington Monument and the other great features in Washington, D.C. So it's really kind of crazy that this guy got off there and committed this act, because he was going to be.
Oh, hey, one-tail gunner. Hey, one-tail gunner. What is a woke sanctuary state? What does that mean exactly?
Seen. He knew he was going to be seen and certainly be shot at. I'm trying to talk to some of my sources back there to make a determination as to, they said there's about 15 rounds that were fired. It's unknown whether those were handgun, rifle rounds, or anything else at this point. Or at least we don't know it. But I think as we see this come out, we'll find out what weapon he used, the defensive measures that the National Guard used, and we'll learn more about his motives by what they found in his social media and other electronic data.
Jeff, before I let you go, would you imagine, with the National Guard deployed currently and the 500 yet to be deployed, there will be a reassessment of tactics and procedures?
Yeah, there's always a reassessment. Anytime you have something like this, there's always a reassessment. I was on a hostage rescue team for about 5 years, and when we responded to events, we looked at what happened and what were the learning points of what happened before when you go into a new event like this, so you don't make the same mistakes twice.
Jeff Harp, I appreciate your time very much, sir. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break. We are quite obviously in rolling coverage. We'll be back in just a moment with that rolling coverage.
Okay, so I didn't know you heard that DC was, you heard that there was things going on in DC, but I didn't know anything about what the heck. Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure out. He keeps saying woke. He keeps saying woke as in woke. What the fuck does that mean? Y'all don't even know what it means. It started out as a black term. Then it got co-opted into some bullshit. Because I know what it started out as, but you keep saying it like it's some kind of woke shit going on in the city. What the hell do you mean by woke city? I don't understand. What are you talking about? Are you just trying to be funny? Or are you trying to be smart? Are you trying to be a shitty person? I can't really tell. He said woke city. What the hell does that mean? Wake is so far left you can't get your head. No. That's not what woke means, syndicate leader. Figure it out and come back with a better answer, because that just sounds dumb. That kind of that just sounds dumb. Because when you guys say woke, what you mean is, what you mean is They accept gays. They accept trans. They accept that this person calls himself a woman, but he's really a man. They like the illegals. They like the immigrants. They like the brown people. They like, yeah, that's what I mean. Woke. So what does that mean the other part? What does that mean the other people are? The other people are asleep? Is that what the fuck we're saying? That's crazy. That's not what that means. He said it mean that. What does woke mean? Because I don't understand why he keeps saying it. No, far, far left. Woke does not mean far, far left. Woke is not far, far left. I don't even understand what you mean by far, far left. Most people are not even far, far left. Most people are right in the middle, regular left. Because if far, far right for y'all is, well, we ain't even going to say what far, far right mean. But that's pretty close what he said, HQ. That's what woke means now. Y'all don't even know what far left means. Y'all don't even know what far left means. Because if you think far left is accepting gay people for who they are, then y'all don't know what far left is. Y'all don't know what woke means, because that's not what woke means. Most humans accept gay people. So that don't mean woke because you accept gay people. That's wild. Because you accept gay people, you're woke? What kind of shit is that? And don't nobody know what you're talking about, syndicate leader. Vote. If you voted for this 34 felon who is scheming and aiming to take all the money out of this government to put in his freaking pocket, who tore down the White House, who started all these wars, who don't know how to speak to reporters, who don't know how to speak to regular, ordinary, everyday Americans, who's trying to put sedition on our regular service men and women of the Congress, then you're goofy and you don't understand what the hell it means to vote for somebody who's against America. Everything he stands for is against America. Everything he stands for is against America. That's wild that we have different interpretations of that bullshit. That's wild to me. That you think because somebody's gay that that's not American. That you think a person who wants health care for all, that means it's that we're un-American. That you think he's against woke America. That's goofy. You're goofy. That's why all of your agenda is getting rejected. What is woke? I have no idea what the hell he's talking about woke. No, according to them, woke is everything that the left stands for, in which they don't stand for anything. And I say this all the time in my chat. I say it all the time. You Republicans don't stand for nothing. You don't stand for nothing. You cannot wish gay people out of existence. They just exist like everybody else, and they deserve rights just like everybody else. That's not far left. See, this is the goofy part, y'all. Listen to the goofy part. There's gay people on the right too, syndicate leader. It's not a far left concept for gay people. You know, you Republicans don't stand for nothing. You hate everything. You hate everything. Maybe you need to think about what you be saying. Because every time you get into the chat, I hate the woke. I hate the gays. I hate the trans. They don't know what a woman is. I hate the browns. I hate the blacks. I hate immigration. I hate Muslims. I hate Madani. Everything you Republicans say y'all can't stand. Y'all say it's woke. Y'all say it's anti-American. Y'all don't stand for nothing. You don't stand for nothing. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying when I just said what I said. You come into a chat and the first thing some of y'all say is, oh, them illegals gonna get medicine. Those illegals gonna get health care. That's the first thing y'all hate illegals. You hate Republic. No, you hate the Browns. You hate the blacks. You hate the gays. You hate the that's all y'all do is hate, hate, hate. Y'all don't stand for nothing. You don't stand for nothing. What do y'all stand for? Most of us Democrats believe in giving people health care, believing food stamps should be regulated. We believe in helping the elderly, the handicapped, the veterans, the disabled. We believe in doing all of those things. We believe government is a tool to help us, not to make the government the enemy of the people. We believe in the Constitution and following the Constitution. We believe in staying out of other people's wars. What do you Republicans believe in? You don't believe in nothing because y'all hate all of those things. No, it ain't the Democrats. Don't start that shit. Y'all Democrats, you Republicans. That's why y'all don't have as many black people over there now. It's because y'all hate everything. You hate the gays, the trans, the immigrants, the illegals, the Muslims. You hate all of that. And every time you come into a chat, there's somebody talking about, I don't want you people over here. I don't want you black people here. I don't want you immigrants here. I don't want you Muslims here. That's you Republicans that don't stand for anything. Us Democrats will accept you if you're gay because we don't believe in being in other people's bedrooms. We don't believe in forcing our moral thought and our moral things onto other people like you Republicans do. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. When I say you guys don't stand for anything, you just hate everything. You hate the left, the gays, the trans, the browns, the blacks, the immigrants, the Muslims. You hate all of those things. We don't want no Muslims here, no immigrants here, no blacks here, no X, Y, and Z. Speak to any Republican and they'll say all of those things. So that means you don't want other people over in you all's camp. Okay? When you say those things, you don't want other people in your camp. Somebody came into this chat and asked me, why you black people stay on the plantation, the Democratic plantation? You know why we stay over in the Democratic column? Is because you don't want us over there in the Republican column. You have not made it welcome for us to come over into your column. That's why black people are not over there in your column. It's because you make it very well known that you don't like gays, you don't like trans, you don't like blacks, you don't like browns, you don't like immigrants, you don't like any of those things. Why the hell would we feel welcome going over there in your camp if you don't like us? So I'm just saying, that's what I hear. All that hate, hate, hate. We don't like y'all. We don't want y'all over here. X, Y, and Z. Okay. Yes. Yeah, if you want to put it that way, Bob, yes, it is. Because the Democrats, believe in what I just said a little while ago. Helping veterans, homeless, poor, disabled. We believe in helping all of those people, which means as a Democrat, we believe in the social safety nets. You all don't believe in those things. You all don't believe in the food stamps. You all don't believe in Social Security. You all don't believe in Section 8. You all don't believe in those things. Most Democrats don't. Most Democrats do believe in those things. So when you find yourself believing in those things, maybe you'll be a Democrat. So most of us black people believe in those things. Most of those we believe those things help people, not hinder people, help people. So when people ask me, why am I not a Republican? It's because Republicans don't stand for anything. They don't stand for helping people get out of poverty. They don't stand for helping the immigrants become legal citizens. They don't stand for any of those things. So
I'll thank some others in a bit.
I mean, that's all they got to do is say what they stand for. What do y'all? They stand for tax cuts for the rich, as far as I understand, because you cannot put anything in the chat that the big beautiful bill did for poor people. That big beautiful bill did nothing for poor people. Okay, and yet and still, most of us are poor. Yet you voted Republican to give the Republican people stuff. You give the rich people stuff. Instead of helping the poor, you stood to give the rich people stuff. No tax on overtime means, let me explain it, and it's as simple as this. Most people on their tax return votes, they go for the standard deduction in their tax return. Most people go for the standard deduction in tax returns. That no tax on overtime and that no tax on tips belongs in the itemized deduction column. Itemized on your tax return, most people do the 1099 or whatever, 1040 or whatever. You have two choices when you file your tax return: standardized deductions or itemized deductions. Most people do standard deduction. The no tax on tip, the no tax on overtime belongs on the itemized side. Most people don't do the itemized side. So therefore, it doesn't apply to you. The no tax on tips, the no tax on overtime. It doesn't apply to you. Most people don't do itemized taxes. So please stop saying tax on tips. That means nothing to you if you don't do itemized deductions on your tax returns. Okay?
Also on Twitch, Slim Fozzie, Video Man,
Yes.
Bubba Tuba CF.
I hear you. Yes. Syndicate leader. What? Yes. I can hear you. I see you saying something. What?
19 Buzzkill, Neko Jita, JD Bongo, Lady Jarrell, Malice Bixie, Keith Dimmick.
Most people don't have a mortgage. G. Most people they don't have the mortgage. They don't have the medical. Most people just don't do the standardized. Most people just don't do the itemized deduction. Most people do standard. And so therefore it doesn't apply to you when you go and get your taxes done. Most people don't, unless you have a mortgage, you have donations, most rich people do itemized deductions because they have a lot of things to declare. Most regular people who make less than $150K a year do the standard deduction because it's more. Okay? So when people say to me, no, the Republicans helped us. We got a tax cut. The Republicans helped us. We got no tax on tips. That means nothing to poor people because poor people don't do the itemized deduction. That's all.
Sweet 76, Red Eye Shell, CC Persisting Anomalies, Texla.
So if you have anything else that the Republicans did for you in the past year that you can let everybody know that they're the most amazing party that helps the poor, let me know, because I haven't found any positive thing that this administration has done for the poor people. Not one positive thing that we have found that they have done. They cut Medicaid, they cut health care, and they got some goofy thing people keep saying about tax on tips and tax on wages.
And Ladina Mita.
Okay, so we're your BBB question.
Still, at this point, nothing specific I have heard.
I just said
about
it's the big beautiful bill. That's what I'm asking them. What did the big beautiful bill do for people between the money, between the wages of 30,000 and 150,000. What did the big beautiful bill do for you? Because if you're going to pass that big of a legislation piece, then you should be doing something for the poor people, seeing as how you just transferred the wealth to the top half of the country. That big beautiful bill does nothing for you in it. It does nothing for you. I'm still waiting for people to say it. Tax on overtime is for people who make over 150K. Tax on overtime is under the itemized deductions. Most people that are poor make under 150K take the standard deduction, not the itemized deduction. Itemized deduction is for people who have charity, gave money to charity, have interest on houses, who has interest on taxes, or who has interest on stocks and bonds and things like that. That's the people that take itemized deductions. And that is where you can do your tax on tips and your tax on overtime. And seeing as how you don't make enough money to do itemized deduction, you're not one of the people who get to take the tax on tips and the tax on overtime. It means nothing to regular, ordinary individual people. How many times do we have to say that? That means nothing. The big beautiful bill did nothing for poor people. On top of the fact that they cut your Medicaid and they cut the subsidies for the health care. None of that. It's on your, it's in order for it to be recognized, you have to do the itemized deduction. Syndicate leader, you have to, instead of doing standard deduction, and usually the standard deduction is better for the poor person because it's more. Okay, because it's more. Please look it up. When you do the standard deduction, the only reason to do the standard deduction is if you get more off of your taxes. It takes you closer to zero. Most people take the standard deduction because that gets you closer to zero than an itemized deduction. Okay? So therefore, the tax on tips and the tax on overtime doesn't mean anything for poor people. It's just a nice bumper sticker thing. Okay? Look it up. Look up what the standard deduction is for somebody who makes what your money is. And then go in and try to do this. Then go in and try to do the itemized deduction. It's going to be less. Itemized is going, and you can only choose between one or the other. You can't do the itemized and the standard. So if you don't have a lot of interest in stocks, you don't have a lot of interest in school loans, you don't have a lot of itemized deductions, then that taxes on tips and the tax on overtime means nothing to regular, ordinary people. Not true. The tips and overtime isn't. Most people don't work for tax and tips. BB4. Most of us have a wage. Most of us have a salary. So there's limited people that work for tax and tips. The rest of us work for wages. So therefore, it's not the bulk of us that it means. So people who don't make tax and tips, for one, overtime is, I'm not saying that again. I'm done. I said it goddamn 4 or 5 times. Taxes on tips and taxes on overtime don't mean jack shit for anybody who's not taking the itemized deduction.
A suspect. I also don't know if President Trump will post anything more about this tonight.
Let me see. What did he say? Did he say something? Truth? Social. Did he say something on True Social? Let me see. What did?
This is the intersection of 17th Street Northwest and I Street Northwest, about 3 blocks from the White House.
Wait a minute. Did he say anything on True? Well, it wasn't that far, right? Let me see. Hold on. What did he say? We are just trying to get to. We are just trying to get
You
to.
can see lots of law enforcement over by the scene of the
Oh,
crime.
okay. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. What did we have right here? What did he say? This is Donald Trump. What did he say on True Social? Because I go there and I look at the shit that he be writing. He be writing some shit. He said the animal that shot the two national guardsmen, with both being critically wounded and now in 2 separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of presidency, I am with you. Okay, so that's the only true. Well, let me go back. See if he put any. Let me see if he put anything else in there. Oh, just somebody else. Praying for these two. Okay, let me see. Critically wounded. Okay, that he wrote that. Okay. I don't think he wrote anything. A reasonable statement. Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's good. You know, let's just find out what the person did and why they did what they did, and let's find out what the suspect. What was the name of it? Okay. Why talking with what you talking with? So I mean, it's a reasonable statement. It's okay. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not the best either. So I mean, it is what it is. Let's do our thing. So we can't follow the news all night. So what we gonna do? Here we go. For what were we doing? We were doing something. Well, we already got the information. They're not giving out no information tonight. No more information tonight. So here we go.
Happy Thanksgiving,
I didn't say jack shit about his statement. His statement was cool. I thought it was cool. It was what it was.
Let's see.
Why are they playing music and he trying to talk? Why they playing music and he trying to talk? He must not hear the music. Hell yeah, that's Kid Rock and he talking and they got this music going. Yeah.
All over the world, and actually spent a little time away from home, which I know a lot of you will probably be doing this holiday season. Thanksgiving, Christmas. I spent 2 Christmases in Iraq and another Thanksgiving, and I only say that I don't think you understand sometimes how much you affect everyday people, not just by your service to our country, protecting us, and everything else that you do unselfishly, but personally speaking, my son was very young. I was a single father. And being away from Christmas that first year, I kind of sat him down. And it was one of the most important life lessons I ever got to teach him, which was, look, we've been fortunate the last few years. I had finally made some money. I said, to be able to afford whatever we want. I said, I've been asked to go entertain some guys and girls over in Iraq this Christmas. So we're not going to have a lot of presents this year. I'm going to be gone, but I'm going to go be with people who can't be with their families as well. And I think that's really the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of our country. And I'm proud to say he's 32 years old now, happily married with 2 grandchildren, and he couldn't come today because he's working. He has 2 jobs. So I just wanted to say thank you again, because it's people like you that I was able to teach him that lesson. Now also, like
you all hit the like, share, subscribe button. Amazing. Thank you all for getting me over the 4,000 sub hunt. I'd appreciate more subs, but I appreciate getting over the 4,000 subs today. Please hit the like button and share. Don't be mean, because a lot of y'all be mean.
I said, I'm 54 years old, and I see a lot of young faces around here.
Damn, Kid Rock.
And I was thinking on the way up here, I thought about the first time that I realized I was old. And I'd like to share that story with you, because make no mistake, everyone in here is going to have this moment. And it's a moment. It happens once. And I was it's probably 12, 15 years ago, maybe in my early 40s. I was in Malibu, California with a very, very good friend of mine. We're sitting in a little lunch spot, having a beer and having lunch. And this very pretty young girl came over, and she said, "Oh my God, Kid Rock." And she was with her friend. And she said, "Can I have my picture made with you?" And I kind of, winked at my buddy. I'm like, "Yeah, motherfucker." I'm like, yeah, Grandpa still got it, right? I'm like, and I kind of made a whole to-do out of it. I said, you know what? Why don't we go outside, man? Better light out there with the sun, this, that, and the other. So I'm standing there with these 2 very pretty young ladies, hamming it up in front of my buddy. And they were kind of nervous, and I kind of like to break the ice. And I said, "So how's it feel to have your picture made with Brad Pitt?" And my buddy, he's like, "Yeah, Brad Armpit." So I'm like, blah, blah, blah. We break the ice, take the picture. The young lady looks at, it was a phone at the time, one of those flip phones. And she looks at the picture and she goes, "Oh my God, my mom's going to shit." And that's how I knew I was old for the first time. So, but that's it. I'm just here to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you tremendously for your service, especially those that can't spend it with your loved ones this year. Now I'm so proud to bring up a man who's also served in our military and the Marines.
You need to definitely do some research, syndicate leader. You need to do some research. That's all you need to do. You don't have to accept what I say. Go do the research. That's all you got to do. Nobody said take my word for it. I'm just telling you what the information that I found from the government website. I just take it from there. You look at whatever you want to look at.
I know it's not a day for politics, but I do hope to call him our 48th president one day. It's so nice to have people like him who are just down to earth, normal in office. And I can't stress that enough, having been in
I know you ain't talking about that. That I don't know whether I don't know whether I'm a girl or a boy. Get JD Vance with the makeup. I hope you ain't talking about him being your 48th president, because ain't nobody gonna accept that. According to Black America, you Republicans don't like no men. No, I'm sorry, not Republican. You men, period, don't like them ones who don't know whether they men or women, or like men or women. You guys don't like them.
And, I've been privileged to spend time with pretty much every president since Carter. Just a normal human being. Whether your politics align or not, he's just a good, normal guy. And I know he fights for all of us here. And like myself, I don't think it matters your political affiliation. We all support our troops, and we are, once again, tremendously grateful for everything you do. So without further ado, could you make some noise, please, for the Vice President of the United States, Mr. J.D. Vance.
He's the one who said he should be the next president. Some of them people pushing him up like he's supposed to be the next president. Us Democrats gonna run us to everyday, normal, average Joe Blow. And we finna blow this goofy dude out the water. He didn't know whether he was gay or normal when he was in college. So I don't
Campbell, Kentucky, and let me just say, I want to say first, before we get started, on a somber note, we had, and some of you may have seen this on your phones or on social media, but apparently there was a shooting outside the White House just a couple of hours ago. And we're still learning everything. We still don't know the motive. There's a lot that we haven't yet figured out. But what we do know is that a couple of National Guardsmen were injured in the line of duty. And first of all, I want everybody who's a person of faith to say a prayer for those two National Guardsmen, that they're able to spend Thanksgiving with their families instead of losing their lives, because I understand they're still in pretty tough condition. But I think it's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America. And as a person who goes into work every single day in that building and knows that there are a lot of people who wear the uniform of the United States Army, let me just say very personally, thank them for what they're doing. We're grateful to them, and we're praying that they're going to be safe and they're going to spend Thanksgiving with their families. God bless them. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the business of the Army and about what you're doing and about why it's important to the United States of America and why we are proud of you, every single one of our soldiers here in Fort Campbell and all across the world. We have got some incredible guests here to honor this moment, to honor you, to say thanks to so many of you for spending time away from your families here this day before Thanksgiving. And I want to give just a few shout outs to some of our special guests before we get started. First of all, to General Travis McIntosh and Command Sergeant Major Charles Walker, thank you guys for leading this incredible facility, and thank you for serving in the United States Army and making us proud. Where are you guys? Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you all. We've got my dear friend, Senator Marsha Blackburn. Marsha, please stand up and say hello. And we also have Congressman Rose. Where is Congressman Rose? Please stand up. Thank you, Congressman. It's good to see you. Now, I've got to, of course, thank my dear friend Bob Ritchie. You better know him as Kid Rock. But I want to say to my staff, I gave them one instruction, and that's that I don't have to follow a literal rock star before I give a speech. And they screwed that up the day before Thanksgiving, so every single one of them are fired. But thank you to Bob Ritchie, Kid Rock, because he's not just a great musician. He's not just a great American. He is a person who loves the soldiers of the United States Army, and we are proud and grateful for Kid Rock for being here today. I want to take another few moments and just say thanks to Major Josh Wilcox, Master Sergeant Aaron Duhacek, Mr. Jim Parks, Major Rob Wright, and every single soldier who made it possible for me to come and visit. Now, I won't say that the weather is cooperating because it's windy as hell and it is
All right. It will be all right with you, sir. It will be all right. See, I just don't like this guy. I don't like him because I just don't like him because he doesn't bring anything to the table. And he's dishonest. And he seems to be disloyal. And he seems to be a slimy character. He just comes across as a slimy character. What he did to his wife, the way he put his wife down, and then walked up on stage and gave Charlie Kirk's wife a hug. I mean, he is just too slimy for me. I cannot get with him or get beside him. I just don't like him. I just don't like the way his whole personality, his whole persona, what he's put together to put in front of the public. I just don't like him, because he's a character. He is a character that they put together, it's like a Frankenstein they put together. Now he walks and talks. And he's probably even worse than Trump because he doesn't like Trump. He doesn't care about Trump. and he just saw it as an opportunity. He's an opportunist, and he's unlikable, which makes it even worse. But that is just what I think about him, right? I mean, because any regular, ordinary American is going to knock him out of the box because we understand that he's a liar. He's the same as this whole administration is the problem. The whole administration is the problem, down to the White House press secretary, to him, to Stephen Miller, to Hegseth, all of the leaders, to Bondi, Noam, all of them are dishonest brokers, and they don't mean the American public any good. Christy Noam gets X, Y, and Z, $200,000 airplanes. Pam Bondi assigning an illegitimate or unqualified person to go after the president's enemies, and she bumbled that up and then made the whole administration look goofy. Pam Bondi, who does the bidding of the president. That's not how the FBI and the DOJ is supposed to run. Kash Patel, just terrible, just jokes all around. Everybody can see the incompetence. It just is what it is, and we have to put up with it until we don't have to put up with it. So this is the president, vice president, who went out to talk to the troops, and I believe he went out there to talk to them because the Democrats had made that video. So now they got to come out there and try to clean it up and say exactly what's supposed to be said in a speech. So no, I'm not going to listen to the vice president. We already understand what these senators were trying to do. Okay. No, what he said was, I wish my wife would join me in being a Christian instead of being a Hindu. Nobody is supposed to say that garbage. No husband is supposed to say that garbage. Then you get your head cuffed by Charlie Kirk's wife. That's wild. So no, it's not. This is not an administration that we can admire or even look at and say they're going to do X, Y, and Z. They've fumbled every step of the way. Don't know how to quit while they're ahead. Mistake after mistake. The wrong people, inexperienced DEI candidates all over the administration, because these are all the DEI candidates. All the incompetent people. Bright color, but incompetent. And this is the problem we have. Yes, it ain't no says me. It says everybody. Pat Yeager. You can't help what we see. Most people can't help what they see. No administration should have done any of the things that this administration has done. But we have to put up with it, and hopefully we don't have to put up with it no longer than when all the Republicans who say they're going to retires, right? And that's the second wait a minute, that's before the next midterm. And if here's the thing, here's the indicator. That young lady in Tennessee, the young lady in Tennessee, what's her name? Here. This young lady in Tennessee. What's her name? Here. This young lady in Tennessee. Her name is Afton Bean. Afton Bean. Something like that. I can't really pronounce her name. Afton Bean. She's running for the Democratic side in Tennessee. Donald Trump won that state by 22 points. If this young lady gets within even 5 points, it's over for you Republicans. It's over for you. If she gets anywhere near 5 points or under, if she wins, we really know it's over for you Republicans. If she wins, if she gets even close, that still means it's going to be devastating for the Republicans. And it should be devastating for the Republicans because the Republicans have no pushback for this lawless president. The lawless president. And that's why the Supreme Court is now trying to make a determination as to whether the tariffs are illegal. On top of the Venezuelan debacle. So this is where we are today. This is where we're going to stay for today. I will be back at 10 o'clock. If we have any more breaking news, I will be back. It's plain to see. And we get it. We get it. We get it. We just have to vote the Republicans out. Because, see, I wouldn't even have a problem with the Republicans being in power if they wanted to govern people. If they wanted to govern. They don't want to govern. They just want to do power grabs. The Democrats are not in a position to do any kind of power grab. All of the power grab is on the Republican side because they don't want to govern the people. They got rid of Medicaid. They cut Medicaid. They got rid of the ACA subsidies. They're not having any kind of replacement health care plan for the poor people. Poor people are they're going to quit having medical because they can't afford it. Okay. The president has nothing to do with gas. So stop that happiness. They have nothing to do with gas. Food prices are not down. Anybody they don't need. Yes, we need to be governed. People need to be governed. I don't know why you think we don't need to be governed. That's just some goofy talk. Food is not down. Anybody who goes into a store, they can look at beef and know that it's not down. Okay? They can go in there and look at that and know that it's not down. So you gaslighting or trying to gaslight, stop it. We are a little bit smart. The country is waking up to the gaslighting, and they have been gaslight. The president has nothing to do with the gas and has nothing to do with being dependent on the government. The government has to process certain things. We're not going down a rabbit hole with you, happiness. We understand what the government is supposed to do. We're not going down that rabbit hole. Just don't come over here spouting garbage. They hide the job numbers. They hide the inflation rate. Y'all notice that ain't nobody came out and said jack shit about the job numbers. Every Friday, the job numbers have come out ever since it has begun, ever since we begun rating our unemployment, rating those things. And this president fired the people who were actually giving him the right numbers. Now we can't trust this president to give us the right numbers because they don't want you to see how bad it is. They don't want to see how bad it is. They don't want you to see how broke we are. They don't want to see how high inflation is. They don't want you to see how high gas price, regular prices, food prices are going to go. They don't want you to see those things. Okay? And the thing is, we need to know these things in order to prepare ourselves. 4 years of Biden and no Epstein file. Goofy happiness, goofy happiness, goofy. They were under investigation and our president didn't run on releasing the files, goofy. Happiness, goofy. Our president Biden didn't run on releasing the files. Your president did. So you worry about what your president does while he's getting the files together, while he's preparing the files, getting redacted, only trying to show the Democrats. Goofy, Pat Yeager, our president didn't run on releasing the files. Your president did. So you worry about what your president should have done. You see how they come in the chat and then want to change the topic to what they want to talk? That's wild. And I'm happy for you, happiness. I'm happy for you. You're one of the people that he actually did something for. Unless you make below 150K. So if you make below 150K, I know you're lying. Okay? If you make below 150K, I know you're lying. So it is what it is. and it is what it is. And if this person, as I said, her name is Afton Bean, If she wins Tennessee's 7th, if she wins it, that means the Republicans are going to be blowed out. Specifically in, deep red Tennessee. Specifically, if she wins in deep red Tennessee, that means the Republicans are blowed out. See, us Democrats don't have a message. We don't have a message. We don't have a leader. We don't have jack shit. But we're still better than the Republicans according to polling. According to polling, we're still better than the Republicans who are in charge and who say they're helping the American people. That's why they have to pivot. That's why they have to pivot to affordability. Your president understands that he's about to get blowed out and oh, I forgot. Here we go. Oh, just one more thing. I gotta show it to y'all. I gotta because I just gotta show it to you. I just gotta do it one more time. I mean, not one more time, but here we go. Here we go.
Lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
I wonder why he keeps saying that. Why does he keep saying that?
We lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Why would a Republican say if we lose the midterms, somebody's going to prison, myself included? Which would beg the question, what illegal acts did you commit that would mean you would be going to prison?
We lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Thank you. And that's a Republican speaking. So I'm going to believe him, and we're going to watch and see if any of them go to prison come starting in November 25. Okay? Because they understand that. But I will be back if there's any more breaking news at 10 o'clock. Even if there's no breaking news, I might be back at 10 o'clock. But normally, I like to go through everything in the afternoon and see what's going on. See how we're taking the time. What's happening now is the shooting. They're not going to have any more updates. Of course, they're not going to have any more updates until they feel like giving updates and they've questioned this man and did whatever they need to do. Okay? It means the corruption that kept the border. Nobody cares about the border being open, Rico. You see, they don't never focus. They never focus on the issue. The issue is their policies are shitty. Their policies are shitty. And most people are seeing that the policies are shitty. No, I'm not a liar. You just go to why do you think Donald Trump's rating is a 38? Rico 7442 Goofy. Why do you think his rating is a 30? What is it? 38? A 38. Why do you think his ranking as popularity as he's doing his job? All of those things. Why is it in the 30s? It's in the 30s, Rico 7442 Goofy, is because they don't want what the Republicans are selling. And the Democrats don't have no message. They trash, Rico. We trash. Our party is trash, Rico. But they still better than you Republicans. I don't do nothing but lie. Everybody, I don't do nothing but lie. And you know how you can prove a liar is not a liar? That's all you have to do is look at the polling. That's all you have to do is wait. Wait till next Wednesday. Wait till next Wednesday. Okay? Wait till next Wednesday and see if this young lady wins or loses by 5 points or less, or she wins. If this lady wins in Tennessee by any margin, or she loses by less than 5 points, you fucking Republicans are done for. Stick a fucking fork in you. Because this red state, Tennessee, if we win in Tennessee, it's over for you Republicans. And that's a fact. And if you know anything about politics. You'll know that. Shut your ass up, Rick. You don't know what you're talking about. I will be back if there's more content to talk about. Please hit the like, share, subscribe. I know the haters are going to hit the hate button, but that means nothing. It's engagement. Please hit the like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you getting me to 4,000. I appreciate all of that. I will be back if there's more content to get. I will be back. Yes. If you've been looking at the news, then you know that the Republicans are in trouble. And I don't even need to say anything more about that. If you've been looking at any of the news, you know the Republicans are in trouble.